Okay, so I'm doing the first live stream type video I've done on here in a long time. I'm going to just try and get something set up here. I just need a second. It'd be nice if my internet decided to be a little quicker, but I'm going to just go on my Discord and quickly invite people and see if anybody wants to hop on. So typing this here, so it says, for anyone interested, I am doing a live stream, not a live steam, a live stream, weekly roundup right now. Alright, so I've put the bug in everybody's ears on there, and now I can close that off. Maybe, just maybe, I might actually get my computer to work for me here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a review of all of the different NFL uniform matchups across the league. Thankfully, if audio ad I just was able to delete in time. So let's start with Thursday's NFL season opener between the Cowboys and the Bucks. The Cowboys in navy and silver look amazing. Bucks looked great. The only thing I don't get with Dallas, once again, is why is it that the silver pants don't match? Why is it that their white uniform doesn't use the same silver pants with royal blue striping on the sides of them? That the same shade of silver pant as their navy uniform. It looks so much better, and it matches their helmet. Usually, I prefer brighter blues than navy, but for the Cowboys, it's a great look. But as I say that, though, I want the Cowboys to do a royal blue flip of their classic white uniform. That should be their primary color uniform, in my opinion. It would look amazing. Now, moving on to the Cardinals and the Titans. The Titans wore white at home. Usually at the start of an NFL season, especially in warmer climates in the southern U.S., teams tend to want to wear white at home more, which I can appreciate. The Titans actually wore the best look they have when it comes to uniform matchups, even though their uniforms are absolute garbage, in my opinion. Navy blue pants, navy blue socks. It's too bad they didn't at least wear white socks. The Cardinals, red, white, red. That is, at least they've got the color balance right. But I'm so pissed with the Cardinals. They should get new uniforms. I was actually kind of optimistic seeing the tweets from their quarterback. I can't. What's his name? Jesus, I'm just having a brain fart. What is? I'm having an absolute brain fart tonight. But hope I'm not. But okay. I'll be just a second. There we go. I thought it was. I thought it was like Kyle Murphy. It's Kyler Murphy. He posted a tweet last year, kind of showing a concept of a redesigned Cardinals uniform, and I was getting optimism that they might do a uniform change. But hey, at least the Bengals fixed their uniforms a little bit. But yeah, two teams right there, the Titans and the Cardinals, that have bad uniforms that need new ones right now. Something that is new for this season, moving on, is the Jaguars are now wearing teal as their designated home uniform. That's their home jersey now, is the teal. They wore it with black pants, teal socks, and that matches with their black helmet. That is the first time I have seen the Jaguars' current uniforms in any way, shape, or form that I actually thought was actually not bad. Truth is, I'll drop a bit of a bomb and say this. I think the Jaguars should completely reinvent their uniforms. Logos, colors, everything. I'm not a fan of them wearing teal and black, even though teal is unique and teal and black is an awesome color scheme. I just, I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but the idea of them sharing the same primary color as an interstate rival, I just think that, you know what, that's kind of, I don't know. I think it'd be nice if Jacksonville had their own color, to be honest. The Texans wore basically monochrome white. Why is it? What is it with teams wearing monochrome one color? Like, at least have socks contrast. You wear a white jersey with white pants. It looks great when you wear socks that contrast. When it's all jersey to toe white, it looks bad. But I will say this: the Texans' best jersey is their white one by far. The Chargers went with their best look against the Washington football team. Both teams look great. Chargers in white with powder blue socks and white pants, and the Washington, football team wearing burgundy jerseys, white pants, burgundy socks. Whatever the Washington NFL team decides to go with their new team name, please just leave the uniforms alone. They have some of the most gorgeous uniforms in the entire sport, and I would hate to see them change them just because of a new name and a new brand, which I think they're probably going to do, sadly. The Vikings they wore purple jerseys, white pants, purple socks against the Bengals, debuting their new white uniform, their new away uniform, which they wore at home. Why is it? Once again, their brand new white uniform. They're wearing it with white socks. Like, can you not at least wear black socks to contrast? But here's the problem I had when I did my video too. They look like they're wearing. It's like they've got tiger helmets, but they're wearing a uniform made for a team called the Cincinnati Zebras. Like, you've got to have some orange striping on the pants or something. My opinion, not enough orange on their new white uniform. That's why I was saying before, I think it's the worst uniform they've got. Moving on, the Jets' green jersey, their home uniform with white pants and green socks, actually doesn't look bad. It's not the greatest. It's not as good as it could be, in my opinion, but it's actually a uniform that has grown on me to a point where I don't think it's completely terrible. Against the Panthers in white jerseys, pants, and light blue socks. The only nitpick I would have here is even though I think that uniform is perfect when they wear silver pants with the white jersey and light blue socks to match the silver helmet, the all white with blue socks looks great. I really hope the Panthers never change their uniforms. Their uniforms are awesome. The Eagles, they wore black socks by the looks of it, and their midnight green jerseys with white pants. And the Falcons, everything below the helmet in white, including the socks. Terrible look, in my opinion. If they wear that with black socks or red socks, that uniform is tolerable. But all monochrome Eagles start to at least wear their Kelly green throwbacks a little bit. I think they need new uniforms personally. Steelers wore their home uniform against the Bills in head-to-toe white. Once again, I mean, helmet, jersey, and pants in white looks great, but you've got to have contrasting socks. If they wore royal blue socks with that uniform combination, or even red, that uniform's perfect in my opinion. The Colts wore their regular classic home uniform, perfect uniform, one of the most beautiful out there, against the Seahawks in white jerseys, navy pants, and navy socks. But once again, why is it that teams keep insisting on having the socks and the pants match? See, this is why I am a real proponent or a real fan of the concept of the Seahawks always just wearing action green socks with whatever uniform they wear. As long as the pants contrast, because action green socks complement the uniform really well. And I hope that when they do wear their action green alternates, that when they wear them with navy blue pants again, wear them with neon socks to match. Color contrast. It looks so much better, and that way they don't look like they're wearing yoga pants. Now moving on to the 49ers and the Lions. 49ers looked good. The Detroit Lions, they went with their best combo: blue jersey, blue socks, silver helmets, and silver pants. Everything matches, but that's one redesign that's gone way under the radar. It's, in my opinion, I'm not a fan of the Detroit Lions uniforms. I think the ones that these ones replaced, were actually better. The Browns and the Chiefs had one of the prettiest uniform matchups I've seen. The Chiefs in red with white pants, red socks, and the Browns wearing orange pants. Beautiful uniforms. Why did the Browns change their uniforms? Every time I see them, I'm just in awe at how much I love them. Same with the Chiefs, of course. Giants, plain blue jersey, white pants, blue socks. At least the colors match. Against the Broncos, everything that looked, they wore white jersey, white pants, but blue socks, which is good. But the Broncos need to go and get new uniforms. Their uniforms are really bad. They've aged horribly. And the New York Giants, I know their current uniforms are, when they went back to them, they were a throwback. But I think they got it right in the 1980s, personally. The Green Bay Packers, their classic home uniform against the Saints, who actually have decided to wear gold pants. Holy crap. And get this. The moment the Saints decide to wear their gold pants, they kick the Packers' asses 38-3. If that isn't a sign to go back to at least wearing gold pants with your uniforms, New Orleans, I don't know what is. Personally, I think you should make the Color Rush jersey your full-time white jersey and bring back the original matching black jersey with a gold flip as an alternate. But if you're not going to do that, at least wear gold pants with your home and away jerseys. It's so much better. And they wore black socks to break it up, which makes it even better. Now, as for the Dolphins and the Patriots, it was a nail-biter. New England so far has not brought out a new silver pant option with their uniforms, which I think is a big mistake because the mono navy looks bad. Great upgrade over the jerseys they replaced, in my opinion. I love how they embraced the history of the franchise with the style they went with, but you've got to have contrast. And as for the Dolphins, the aqua pants look good, but the aqua socks and wearing basically a teal colored yoga pant option is not good. That's why they needed to wear contrasting socks, because when they do that, the uniform's actually not bad. But I want to see the Dolphins go retro so bad. Moving on, the Rams debuted their modernized take on the original, or not the original, sorry, but of their 80s royal blue era white away uniform. It's a white jersey based off of the white uniform they wore back in the 1980s through the 90s and their early years in St. Louis when they relocated from LA. Hang on, guys, I'll be right back. And all right, so I'm going to take a quick 5-minute break. I'm going to get some craft dinner, and then I'm going to come back down and see if anybody's actually on here. I haven't read any comments, by the way. Hi guys, I am back. Oh, damn! There's four of you in the house. Oh my goodness, I didn't even see you guys on here. Thank you for your patience, by the way. Hey buddy, so I'm gonna read your comments, all of them, guys, before I go on. Hey Nick, thank you for coming on here. Tyler Murray, thanks for that. Sean, I hate that the Steelers still haven't gone back to their 70s throwbacks full time. They need to do that ASAP. Yeah, I agree. Seeing the Bears wear their home uniform on the road was weird. It was weird, but it was weird in a good way. The Bears uniforms are great. They are one of the few teams that don't use a block font that looks great. Besides, it's the Bears. I've never seen the Bears look bad. But speaking of the Bears Rams, that Rams uniform, I'd just like to give a warm round of applause. So you can hear me clapping, right? I want to give a warm round of applause to the Los Angeles Rams for taking my favorite NFL uniform of all time and ruining it. Great job, guys. Great job. It's so disappointing. So disappointing that the Rams are so damn incompetent with their uniforms. But overall, that uniform is a monumental improvement over the bone, and I would be the least bit surprised if it becomes their new full-time away next year. So, hello, Rockzilla. Hey, the Weed Seat 96. I hope all is well with you and with everybody here, all of my viewers. You should see the ending to the Ravens versus Raiders. It was fantastic. This is my formal hello. Hello to you, Caesar. Hope all is well. I'll have to take a look at that. I've been a bit busy tonight. Windy City Hockey says, yup. And the Bengals wear a knockoff Bears jersey with their new font. I wouldn't go that far. The new font is basically the Bears font, but the colors and the design are drastically different of both teams' uniforms. I think the Bengals are fine, but here's the thing. Their black and orange jerseys are upgrades, but their new away uniform ticks me off because it looks like they're playing as the Cincinnati Zebras. It's like one of those stupid, cheesy minor league baseball promotions you see sportslogos.net cover from time to time where, oh, this team will play one game as the whatever sheepdogs or as the Rocky Mountain Oysters or something. I don't know. But, it's like, come on. Oh, so I talked about the Rams and the Bears. So, okay, the Ravens wore jersey to toe, mono white. Boo. Why can't you at least wear purple or black socks? And the Raiders are the Raiders. They don't know how to look ugly, and that's a great thing. So, also, don't mind if I'm eating some mac and cheese. Good. Oh, yeah. Prayers to the 5 Ravens who suffered torn ACL and Achilles. Yes. Those are very bad injuries. Next week will be a bad matchup between the Bears and Bengals for jerseys. I disagree with that slightly because the Bears are the Bears. I've never seen them look bad a day in my life as a football fan. And as for the Bengals, if they're wearing either their black or their orange jerseys, they're going to look fine. But actually, wait a second, I have my telephone right here. Okay, there it is. You guys can see my telephone. Good. I'm gonna go pull up a concept that I did a while back. If my internet decides to work, okay, actually, you know what? I got a better idea. I'm going to turn my internet off. I'm going to switch to my data. There we go. See? If the Bengals would have gone with my concept there, see? The Bengals would have looked amazing if they went with these. Maybe minus the orange stripes on the socks, but hey. You see? They should have gone more towards what they wore at the end of the 90s. So the Bears will be wearing the Navy uniforms, and they'll look great when they do, too. But yeah, if the Bengals wore my concepts, I think that they would have had a way better redesign. I'll take a moment to quickly share some thoughts on the Winter Classic uniform, since it turns out there's a few of you that actually joined in on my impromptu stream. I'm so pleasantly surprised. I didn't think anybody was going to join on, to be honest. This might actually be a record, ironically. So I just want hockey back. I got to agree with you, Nick, but I just can't get it out of my goddamn head about those goddamn ads. I'm so pissed off with the jersey ads. There's no need for them. I'm telling you, there's no need for them. So, okay. Yes, you know what, Nick, I totally agree. Jerseys don't belong. It is an effing joke. It is absolute greed at its worst. We at C96, I'm not happy there'll be ads on NHL jerseys. Good. I might rant on that. I hope you do. The Blue Jays are on fire. I've heard about that. That's good. I'd love to see a Canadian team win a championship somewhere again. It's too bad we didn't get Montreal's adding, or sorry, it's too bad we didn't get the Montreal Canadiens another Stanley Cup title, but hey, I'd love to see the Blue Jays go on a run. That would be amazing. You know, I'm going to get something off my chest. I'm going to make a confession. I'm really disappointed with how many people seem to be okay with the NHL adding an advertisement on the jerseys. You know, I don't mean to be rude. I mean, if it's not a big deal to you, it's not a big deal. But I think there are too many people who have been complacent about or not thinking it's a big deal about the ads, and then the NHL sees it. It's like, oh, we're not getting that much negative feedback. Let's put more ads on our uniforms. People seem to be fine with them. It's so frustrating. You know, makes my blood boil thinking about the most beautiful uniforms in hockey, whether it's Chicago, Detroit, Montreal, the Rangers, the Islanders, the Flyers, the Penguins, or any NHL jersey for that matter, no matter how ugly, having a corporate ad on it. Oh, by the way, I do have a video or two that's coming out soon, probably this week. There's one I've already filmed about the ads on jerseys, but I want to do a prequel. I want to do a little bit of a prequel because there's something that I thought was worthy of doing another video about. I thought I'd throw that little between you and me, little first sneak peek at that. So, okay, the Weed Seat 96 says, I am happy. Okay, not happy. I mean, sorry. So unfortunately, the Cubs are not good, but the future looks bright with the prospects they have. Hopefully, for you guys, the Cubs will turn themselves around. But who I actually want to see actually have some success for the first time in my lifetime would actually be the team that's closest to where I live, just outside of Vancouver here, the Seattle Mariners. Obviously, the Blue Jays are who I want to have success more than anybody because they're the only Canadian team, eh? But Seattle, just like with the Seahawks in the NFL, Seattle is the closest city that has professional sports teams in the NFL and baseball to where I live. So obviously, it's kind of my hometown-ish team. So, but I'm sure by the time the Mariners are ever a decent team, that'll be the day where all of us are old enough to collect old age security checks from the government. But anyway, I digress. There is a chance the Coyotes will go to Houston. I think that'll happen. I'll believe it when I see it, Sean. I mean, especially when they're allowing ads on the jerseys. The NHL's got more than enough money now that I think they can pay for the Coyotes to stay there. It's not like they haven't kept them on life support for the past decade. Maybe it's time, if the NHL is so dead set on Arizona, why don't they pay to build an arena in Tempe, Arizona? Why don't they do that? They've got new annual revenues coming in from corporate ads on the helmets and the jerseys. So because the NHL has been so inclined to make hockey work in Arizona, which, by the way, Glendale was the worst mistake that franchise has ever made, building an arena out in no man's land in Glendale. That's like, I don't know, that's like the equivalent of moving the Vancouver Connects, my hometown team, to a small town about a couple hours away from Vancouver, well, 2.5 to 3 hours away, called Hope, BC. Basically. Jersey ads are horrible, I agree. I might be going to Blackhawks versus Blues preseason game in Kansas City. Ooh, hey, enjoy that if you do go. Kansas City should get an NHL team, in my opinion. Sean, I'm going to have to disagree on that one. I think that when Don Cherry says that, quote, Kansas City was a graveyard for hockey, I believe him. I think if there's any any city that would do well with an NHL team on the western half of the the continent, I believe that Houston should get a shot, especially with their long hockey history, whether it's their World Hockey League franchise, the Houston Aeros, or their many years of American Hockey League Aeros franchises. So I definitely believe that if there's another team or another city in the West that gets a shot, another city, I think it's going to be Houston. I have a feeling the NHL may just, if the Coyotes do actually move, which, as I say, I will believe that when I see it. But I think the Coyotes, if they move, they go to Houston. But hey, if the NHL is so worried about money that they put ads on their uniforms, maybe instead of ads, you know what they could do? Contract the Coyotes and allow a different city in the West to pay an expansion fee. There's at least another $500 million right there. Better than the jersey ads. So I noticed the NHL put more ads on the ice lately. This is from the C96, including behind each net. Yes, on each side of the trapezoid. I actually bitched about that a little bit. Pardon my French. In my rant video that's coming up soon about the ads. Oh, and the glass ads. Oh, I'm not going to do it on camera, but honestly, I'd like to give a middle finger to the NHL for doing that. The digital ads, oh, those make my blood boil. I hate that. I don't want my sporting events to look like I'm watching a video game. Kansas City only was in the league for a couple of seasons before they were relocated. Yes. Unfortunately for the hockey fans in Kansas City, there weren't enough of them back in the 70s, and that's why they quickly relocated to Colorado. I want Quebec to get a team, but it would make most sense to go to Houston. Absolutely. It would be so stupid for the NHL to move Arizona to Quebec. I don't mind seeing the NHL in Houston. No, they'd have an immediate rivalry with Dallas. I think Houston would be a great place for the Coyotes. I think it would be an upgrade. I would name the team, you're going to laugh. If they get a team in Houston, I would call them the Houston Colts. And their logo would be a horse. I wouldn't have a Colt 45 as their logo, even though it would be pretty badass. But for obvious reasons, in today's today, a lot of people would be offended by a gun on the front of a jersey or even on a shoulder patch. But naming a team the Houston Colts, I think that'd be a cool name. I'd have it maybe as a horse. The logo could be a horse or a cowboy on a horse or something with a hockey stick. Kind of like what I heard the Rangers supposedly considered almost 100 years ago as their first logo in franchise history, which it never actually ended up being, but that would have been cool. But if they don't go with Colts, I think they have to go with Arrows. That name is a classic name. I would be so happy if they went with that name if they ever get a team in Houston. Yeah, Houston Coyotes would be all right too. I could live with that. But I don't know. At the same time, though, when I think of the Coyotes, I think of those classic Kachina uniforms. They're not my favorite in the world, but they are some of the most unique uniforms in NHL history. There's no question about that. Yeah, Houston being in the Central Division would make more sense than Arizona. I agree with you there, Wiener Seat 96. As for you, Sean, and FCOL, I cannot believe that Quebec City has an arena and they still don't have a team. I can't believe it either. I'm sorry to a certain one of you who I know is a Panthers fan, but if they have trouble keeping the team in Florida, I'd love to see them relocate to Quebec. They're already in the Atlantic Division, and they'd be sold out every night. I wonder when the Blackhawks will release the Tony Esposito patch. That's got to be coming soon. There's no question they'll have a memorial patch for him. He deserves it. If Houston got a team, it will most definitely be the Arrows. Yeah, if they don't go with Arrows, I would honestly be buying a lottery ticket because I think the odds of them not embracing that heritage, that hockey history, would be stupid. In my opinion, according to the WC 96, if the Coyotes move to Houston, I'd like to keep the Coyotes' name. Houston Coyotes. Okay, I read that horribly wrong, Steve. I'm sorry. But yeah, if they went with Houston Coyotes, I mean, it would be a bit odd seeing them have to get rid of their classic Kachina striping uniforms, but it's the name Coyotes is a great name, but I don't know. It's got to be Arrows. If it's not Colts, it's got to be Arrows. But as I said earlier, I will believe the Coyotes are actually leaving Arizona if I see it. So the Central already has the worst traveling. That's why I hate the idea of the Coyotes coming to the division because it makes the travel worse. Yeah, there's no question. And I honestly, Nick, I'm sorry to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but I think the National Hockey League has been quietly laying down the foundations for an eventual move out of Arizona to Houston for a while. I would not be surprised if the owner of the Coyotes right now would be willing to move them to Houston and possibly create some type of arrangement with the owner of the Houston Rockets. It would not surprise me one bit. But I could be wrong. Sean says, I think Quebec City and Hamilton should get teams. I'd love to see a team in Hamilton, but the Maple Leafs and the Buffalo Sabres would cry a river, and they would not allow another team in their territory, unfortunately, even though I totally agree. I think Quebec City should have had a team years ago, as soon as they built their arena. But, Quebec, they've got a beautiful new facility. They would be sold out every night. They'd be like the Jets. They may not have the same TV audience and market potential, but let me tell you, the Frenchmen are some of the most passionate fans out there for hockey, and I'd love to see them get another team in Quebec City. The Nordiques need to come back, and that's also something that I hated about the Avalanche and their Nordiques reverse retro. I don't disagree with anybody who says that it was a great looking uniform. It did look good in Avalanche colors, but it just didn't feel right. I want to see a new team in Quebec wearing those uniforms, not the Avalanche. I know the Avalanche are the Nordiques. They are, because they moved from Quebec, what is it, 26 years ago? Yeah. But still, I got to be honest. It was disappointing seeing the Avs wear that. I wish they could have worn a blue flip of their original burgundy and white jerseys with the extra accenting that I think their new jerseys need today. But hey, Nick, I saw your little post here. Check Discord. Let's see what we got here. And come on, data. It's not like I'm using my internet here, so. Okay, so are you good if I share the little tweet photo, Nick? If you do, then I'll show it here. So I'm going to skip your comment for now, and I'm going to jump to the We the Seat 96. I don't know if it's a good. Bit my tongue. I don't know if it's a good idea if the Coyotes move to downtown Phoenix Arena, where the Suns play, because it will be just like the Islanders at the Barclays Center with obstructed seating views. That's exactly why they left that arena in downtown Phoenix anyway, years ago, basically 20 years ago now, because they wanted to play in an arena that was built for hockey. So, speaking of Arizona, there's a tweet I'll show you guys. Wow, my iPhone's being useless tonight. So Nick says there, I know I'm showing it and you have to look at it in reverse. Let me just read it for you. They did a photo of the normal white. Makes me think a Kachina white isn't happening since the Coyotes are yet to release one. It's coming. I think, considering all their social media has got their white throwback logo with a white background on it, that's what I meant to say. There's no question, in my opinion, it's one of the worst kept secrets in the NHL. I think they're going back to the Coyote or the Kachinas full time. I just think they're dragging it along and too long, but I could be wrong, but in my opinion, I think this is the worst kept secret since the Calgary Flames 2019 Heritage Classic sweater. We all knew it was going to be that one. At least I did. I mean, hey, they could have gone with something else, but they would have been stupid not to, or stupid to do so. I like the Kachina Coyotes jerseys. They look great. That's from the We Just Seat 96. They're, how do I explain this? Okay. They are a very unique design. I can't say they're terrible. I definitely don't think they're terrible, but I think that the colors are too muddled. And the colors look great up close on their home jersey or on the black Kachina jersey, but from a distance, the dark green on the shoulders blends in with the black jersey base far too much for my liking. They're definitely better than their Sedona red and white jerseys they've been wearing. I can't disagree with that. But the Kachina jerseys, they're cool. They're very unique, and I think it's great that the Coyotes have brought them back to wear, but as a full-time look, it's not what I would have gone with. to be honest. But as an alternate, it looks great. But hey, I mean, we all have different opinions, eh? um, let's see here. Sean, I also heard the Diamondbacks could move as well. If they do, I say move them to Montreal. I'd love to see Montreal get a team. They were a great baseball city back in the day. They'll be a great baseball team city or baseball city again if they ever get the chance. But I can't see Arizona moving. I would be blown away if they move. I have to say I was never a fan of the Kachina uniforms. I'm between you and Steve on your opinions on them because I don't love or hate them. I don't mind them. I definitely think they're some of the most unique jerseys. I love the Kachina striping, but I'm not a fan of the color scheme, especially on the black jersey. When you're watching the players wear it up close, it's amazing, but from a distance, I feel the colors are too muddled. And it's a problem with too many modern day jersey designs. Do you notice that? Where up close, they look great. Like you can tell that when somebody makes them on a computer screen, they look great on a computer. Why do I know this? Because I make concepts all the time. But here's the kicker. I mean, there's a big monumental difference between wearing or looking at a design on a computer screen or looking at it up close compared to watching it on a TV screen with players wearing it from a distance during gameplay. That's why you look at the Carolina Hurricanes third jersey and people like me say, well, that dark gray shoulder yoke, it makes it look like they're wearing a phantom shoulder yoke like the Ducks' current garbage home jersey. Sorry to be biased. Or another one, the Edmonton Oilers third jersey, which I think might become their home jersey, which is, I don't know why they don't go back to royal blue or at least a navy blue flip of their possibly soon to be retired orange home jersey. But yeah, up close it's all right, but from a distance it's just too muddled and the stripes are too close together. What's another one? Even the Carolina Hurricanes leaked Stadium Series uniform design. Well, here's the thing: the jersey is the jersey is up close unique. I tip my hat to them for the creativity, but from a distance, it just looks so muddled. Other designs I can think of that look good up close, but they're too dark from a distance. The Avalanche third jersey, or even another one. Where the hell was it? The Ottawa Senators. Their home uniform is an improvement over what they were wearing before, but it needs more color. It needs more brightness. Even their reverse retro from up close, the colors work great, but from a distance, it bleeds in. It needed some white. What's another one? The Vancouver Connects third jersey as well. It's solid green on blue with no white. Up close, it looks fine, but from a distance during gameplay, it's so muddled and it looks terrible. There was one more I think that I wanted to complain about. Oh yeah, Nashville's home jersey. Up close, it's all right, but from a distance during gameplay, it's so muddled. You can barely see the player lettering on the back. The white striping completely disappears, and it looks like a fashion jersey you'd buy at Walmart or Target or whatever. Even the Detroit Red Wings reverse retro jersey. Why is it that they had to make the striping gray instead of red? If it was red, the jersey would have been beautiful. Up close, you can see the gray, but from a distance, no. It bleeds in. It's stupid. The Dallas Stars reverse retro too. I'll complain about that one while I'm at it. The silver on the crest looks great, but from a distance, it's invisible. All you see is the star. What a stupid design decision. Why couldn't they have done a victory green star-shaped jersey with white on the bottom? With that, the problem is it just made too much sense. I don't know. So, and some of these designs are just too damn dark, and the contrast is just a mile off. I like the Tampa Bay Lightning reverse retro jersey they wore this past hockey season. I think it's the best design that Lightning have ever worn, to be honest with you. I think they should make that their home jersey and bring back the original white jersey as an away, and have the black as a throwback and create a new third jersey design at some point. I think the D-backs are fine in Arizona. I can't see the D-backs moving. Yeah, even though I would rather see them in Montreal. I agree with Sean, but I can't see them moving either. One team that needs to move is the Rays. I'd love to see them go to Montreal. They would do great. Also heard the Athletics could move to Vegas. I would not be shocked, Sean. Vegas seems to be that hot place for sports teams now. Look at the Golden Knights. Now look at the Raiders now as well. And now the Raiders are actually able to play in front of fans in their new stadium in Vegas. So they're going to do so well. They'll do better there than they've ever done in Oakland, in my opinion. I believe it's possible they might even do better than they ever did in LA, because not only do they now have the LA fan base, which is so close to Las Vegas, but also they got tourists from every other team in the league and tourists in general that want to see football. And Nick says here, I know the Hawks suck in the 2019 Winter Classic sweater, but I hope they keep it as a third because I love when they wear it because I do black and white videos. You know what? I hope that they keep it around for another season or two. But honestly, since I'm on the topic, Nick, I'll tell you what I think they should do. I want to see them make their reverse retro jersey a third jersey, and then keep the 2019 Winter Classic as a special heritage throwback to wear 3 or 4 times a year. I think if they did that, that would be amazing. Okay, Sean says, one thing I hated about the Raiders fans was the stupid costumes they would wear. Sean, I don't mean to ruffle your feathers here, buddy, but sometimes I feel the same way about Saskatchewan Roughriders fans as a BC Lions fan. The watermelon heads, or the cheese heads in Green Bay. That is really cheesy. Okay, sorry about the pun. I'm eating macaroni and cheese as I'm doing this, so if my puns get a bit cheesy, okay, I'll shut up. Nick says, I just want the Blackhawks old third back. I would be happy if they brought it back. I mean, at least it's not a bad design like the reverse retro Anaheim Ducks jersey, which, well, okay, that one was kind of cool because it was so bad. I mean, it'd be better than the Gorton's Fisherman. Oh, you guys are going to laugh, but I actually have a Fisherman jersey. No joke. So I'm going to take a couple minutes here just to finish up some macaroni and cheese here. And when I come back, I'm going to be giving you guys a special announcement about some future plans I have for the channel coming up rather soon. So stay tuned. Nick, you're going to laugh, but I actually have a navy blue Gorton's Fisherman jersey. I found an old junker one that did not have a crest on it, and I bought a crest, and I actually had a crest put on it. True story. Sean says, I can't believe the Islanders approved that garbage fisherman's jersey, LMAO. Yeah, I can't believe it either. But you know what they should have done? You guys are going to laugh, but what the Islanders should have done with the Gorton's Fisherman is they should have brought that navy blue jersey out as a third jersey when the rest of the other teams, like the Ducks, the Kings, the Canucks, the Penguins, Penguins, Canucks, Mighty Ducks, Kings, Boston, and there was one other one. Anaheim, Boston, LA, Pittsburgh, and Vancouver unveiling third jerseys at the time. That would have been a good time for the New York Islanders to bring out the Gorton Fisherman as a third jersey. Only as a third jersey. I think a lot of people would have still given it thumbs down, but it would not have gone down in history as badly as it has, thanks to the decision to be dumb enough to retire their beautiful royal blue Stanley Cup Dynasty era uniforms for that crap. I hope the Islanders never bring back those ugly fish sticks jerseys. Well, seems like a lot of people who follow channels like Post to Post actually seem to really want the fish sticks brought back. I'm really surprised. I think it's crazy. I'm also really surprised and disappointed at how popular Blasty the Horse is in Calgary. I think he's an ugly product of late 1990s uniform and logo design. But yeah, I can't get over how many people were upset with the Islanders not doing a Gorton Fisherman reverse retro jersey. I mean, do I think the Islanders could have been more creative and done at least an orange flip at their home and away jerseys? Yeah, for sure. But I think the navy blue reverse retro is actually one of the nicest ones, ironically. There's an old adage that less is more. And I think the Islanders reverse retro was a thing of beauty. Now, would I want it to replace their home and away jerseys? No way. But I definitely believe that it's a really, really great jersey. So I hope the Islanders never bring back those ugly fish sticks jerseys. Well, you're going to laugh, guys, but I think that for the people who love the Gorton's Fisherman, I actually think it'd be I could live with the Islanders bringing back the Gorton's Fisherman as a heritage jersey to be worn 3 to 4 times a season tops for a couple of seasons, like what we've seen the Blues do with their 90s throwbacks. That I know there's a certain one of you who hates them with a passion. Even though, I got to agree, they're definitely not my favorite either, but I thought it was cool they brought them out as a throwback. And don't even get me started on the Blues wearing a red reverse retro of that. That was so dumb, in my opinion. They're the Blues, not the Reds. The Reds are a baseball team in Cincinnati. Ay. But yeah, I think for the fans of the Fishermen, I could live with the Islanders doing what the Blues have done with their 90s throwback and do a Gorton's Fisherman jersey to wear maybe 3 or 4 times a season for a couple of seasons. Then throw it in the vault for another 25 plus years, and I would be happy with that. I'll tell you that. So, Windy City Hockey at the Weedus Heat 96. I miss that jersey so much. I'm glad I have a Reebok 1.0 Taze ones. I wish I had a Reebok 1.0 as well, but I got too many jerseys in the closet, and also I kind of need the money at the moment. I'm not going to lie. But yeah, actually, speaking of jerseys, I have a small Calgary Flames jersey that I've been trying to sell for, believe it or not, over a year now, and I haven't been able to sell it. Would you believe that? A Calgary Flames jersey. I know it's an adult small, but seriously. I've been trying to sell it for over a year. I can't even trade it. It's been crazy. So we just Heat 96. Windy City Hockey. I have a Coho one with no name on the back. Well, hey, that's better than the one I have. It's a Reebok Edge Premier replica jersey. It is a replica with, I think, Andrew Shaw's name and number on the back. I'd have to check it. Sean says, I want the Rangers to bring back their old Lady Liberty jersey. If they do decide to bring the Lady Liberty logo back in some capacity on a jersey, bring back the original. The reverse retro took that design and absolutely defecated all over it. They took everything good about the original and they made it worse. They made it horrible. Okay, Nick says, one reason I think we don't ever see Fish Sticks jersey again because the scandal of the Dean Spanos ownership scandal. That wouldn't surprise me. What happened there in the mid-90s with Mr. Spanos owning the Islanders in that time was a disaster. Also, when you have Lou Lamoriello running your team, he actually cares about the team's uniforms and he doesn't do anything stupid, and I respect him quite a bit for that. Even though, for that 2014 Stadium Series game against New York, now that I look back, I don't know why they didn't just do what they did with the reverse retro they wore last season, which I hope it comes back as a third, by the way. So, Nick, which Flames jersey? It is their 04 era home jersey from their 04 Stanley Cup run, the red one with the black C. So Dean Spanos was awful at owning the Islanders. Well, Sean, I can't disagree with that one. Nick says, I would prefer the Rangers bring back the white Liberty jersey rather than the Navy. That's fair. I think the Navy one is the best of the bunch. The original one, not the reverse retro. That looked like a practice jersey with some striping sewn on it at the last second. I don't know about you guys, but I've also been kind of hearing rumblings that this fourth jersey program promotion thing's not going to just be a one-time thing. Of course it's not going to be. Besides, they need more jerseys to sell corporate ad space on anyway. But yeah, here's my stance on on the reverse retro program. I thought it was cool as a one-time thing to see everybody get an extra jersey, but when I see classic teams like Detroit and Montreal wearing the garbage, well, Montreal's wasn't garbage, but classic teams like Toronto and Detroit wearing the garbage they wore, and the New York Rangers taking the Lady Liberty and making it worse, making it look awful and mediocre and drab. I don't like stuff like that. I wish every team did not have to participate, to be honest. And speaking of Montreal, listen, I think their reverse retro was really good. I mean, taking their classic red sweater and flipping the colors around, it's not going to look bad. But what about the team's heritage of always wearing red, except for a few short years early on in the franchise's historic history? There's some things you don't do. It would be like, for example, the New York Yankees wearing, I don't know, a red jersey. Or the New York Rangers wearing a red jersey. Just because you could do something, in my opinion, doesn't mean you should do it. I did not like seeing the Canadians wearing blue. I think it was actually sacrilegious. It's just, you're messing with a team with an iconic franchise's history when you do stuff like that. And I know it was a great idea. It was a great design. I agree with everybody. It's a nice looking jersey, but you don't mess with history. And now, now you look at their history and now you can say, oh, well, they've actually worn blue. Well, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should, in my opinion. Next thing you know, the New York Rangers go skating out in red jerseys. It's just, Yeah, it's. I don't know. I don't agree with that. When you have a classic, long established heritage around your team's sweaters, you don't mess with that. Nick says here, I love how people kept saying the Blackhawks wasn't. Yeah, I know. It was a reverse retro, guys. Come on. It was the best reverse retro. At least, okay, obviously I'm biased, but it was the best reverse retro in my opinion. So good. Truth is, I would not mind the Blackhawks or getting a reverse retro jersey myself, but of course, sellers want to charge an arm and a leg for them right now because they didn't make that many of them, and a lot of people want them. But instead of spending money on a reverse retro jersey, I'll be honest, I'd rather spend that money towards taking one of my stripped jerseys I bought a few years ago and finally sending it out to get customized. Okay, the We Just Heat 96. My favorite NHL jersey are the jerseys they wore before the 07-08 season. I think the collar designs are the best in my opinion. Reebok Edge are great too. That's been something that's been quietly turning me off from talking about hockey jerseys lately is the National Hockey League and Adidas being committed to this Addy crap template and now they've switched to this new prime green material, which is great for the environment. I'm all for environmental, stewardship and all that, but I was hoping to see a change to those stupid Adidas collars, and we did not get that. I'm so disappointed. Windy City Hockey. I'm glad I officially have 2 Blackhawks reverse retros. Nice. Nice. Well, I got to be honest, if I get a chance to get one, I might just have to get my credit card out and buy one. For the right price, of course. I'd like to sell some of my jerseys first, not going to lie. Fun fact, my second Blackhawks reverse retro jersey was sent up to Vancouver to get customized. Nice. Oh, yeah, you were saying that. So, there's something I'm going to jump in and discuss. Okay. What do you think of the Blues and the Wild Winter Classic sweaters for 2022? I love that Minnesota is embracing the hockey history of Minnesota. I don't like the upper chest stripes on the front. They should have ran right along the shoulder yoke, in my opinion. And as for the Blues, I like the vintage white. I like it. It's a nice change, even though it would have looked better if they just went with white. But the reverse white, oh my God. The vintage white reverse of their 67 throwbacks they've been wearing throughout the past 4 years now. I like that they stuck with that, with the use of vintage white with those, but the white would have looked better, but the cream is a nice change. You did call the Blues Winter Classic jersey. Yes, you did. The Blues one I like, but the Wild one I hate it. Yeah, that's fair. I definitely don't think it's the worst jersey I've seen. At least it's not the colossal failure that was the Wild's supposed attempt at a black third jersey. But I don't like the elbow pad design on the back of the elbow area of the Winter Classic jersey they've brought out. Why did they have to do that? I mean, okay, I get the idea of a vintage hockey aesthetic or a hockey look, but when I think of those elbow patches, I think of suits like worn as far back as the 1970s or the 80s or even the 60s. I think of suits, or I think of Dirty Harry out of the Dirty Harry movies and Sergeant Callahan with the elbow pad patches on his suits. But at the same time, though, I got to give them credit. The elbow patches does fit the aesthetic of that sweater design very well. But no, I'm not going to lie. I would prefer if they weren't there. But they do fit the aesthetic. And I love that the Wild decided to do something historic. And that's also part of why I can live with the Blues doing the vintage white instead of white, which I think would have looked better. The vintage white is going to add more of that retro aesthetic and complement that beautiful jersey base that the Wild are going to be using. With that green jersey base. Still, Wild did a North Stars green jersey with the M logo. Still wish, yeah, that would have been nice, but I respect Minnesota for doing something that honors their hockey heritage. I mean, I think that's actually a pretty decent choice for the Winter Classic. And also, the thing too about the reverse retro jersey they just used was that it was basically a North Stars jersey with a Wild crest on the front. So I think I like what Minnesota has done. They've given those of us who want to see the North Stars uniforms and hopefully return at some point, they gave us something, but they've also given us something extra by giving us something that's based on the hockey history of Minnesota while also embracing the Wild colors, which I respect them a great deal for doing this. I want to show you guys something that I actually conjured up tonight. But if you look at the Blues Winter Classic jerseys, since they went with beige, I decided to try something different. This is what it would look like if they used navy blue on the vintage white jersey base instead of royal blue. And honestly, I think I'm leaning towards preferring it in navy. I'm sorry if it comes up in a reverse image here, but actually, you know what? I'm going to try something. We're going to done. We're going to save photos. Okay. I forgot. Okay, my supervisor and a coworker of mine on Saturday morning before I started my shift, they took my cell phone and they took some selfies on it. uh, actually, does that work? Okay. Yay! Okay, I reversed it. See, this is a concept that just made tonight of the Blues Winter Classic sweater using navy instead of royal. I actually think the darker blue complements the cream better. What do you guys think? And there's the Blues in royal blue and cream, just to actually, I got to swipe properly here. Man, I'm proud of myself for doing that with my phone here. Good. Oh yeah, guys, a couple things. Speaking of phones, I'm not sure when I'm going to be doing it just yet, but hopefully sometime early next year, I'm thinking I'm going to get myself a new cell phone, and then I'll have two phones of decent quality that I can use moving forward for channel videos. I mean, I do use my old phone for Facebook update videos and the rare videos here on YouTube now. It's getting more and more rare by the month, to be honest. But if I get I'm one more new telephone away from having my secondary phone being an iPhone XR instead of an old Samsung Galaxy Core that I got 7 years ago. So that would be a massive upgrade. When your worst phone that you have for videos is 64 gigabytes versus 16, it's a big improvement in both video uploading, video quality, and sound quality as well. Oh yeah, there is a major announcement I'm going to make right now for those of you who are still enjoying this live stream. Thank you to everybody who has come out, by the way. I am just absolutely tickled pink. And by the way, I apologize for not doing this yesterday, but I got to be honest with you. Yesterday, I just did not feel like doing anything. I needed a day to just unwind and relax. Not gonna lie. I actually watched the old 1977 film Slapshot last night. I must say, the things that people would say in movies from 44 years ago, I can't believe how much of simple things they said in that film that would never fly today. Yeah, I thought Slapshot was definitely. It had its moments of humor. It wasn't what I expected it to be. It actually had a decent story behind it. But you know, Sean, I got to tell you, imagine the reaction people would have if that movie came out today. Oh my God. I think Twitter might just crash. Twitter would probably crash. Oh my goodness. If that movie came out today, Twitter would crash. I guarantee it. Being a millennial myself, when you look at what is tolerated today and what isn't tolerated today in films, it's just when you look at an old movie, it's kind of like a culture shock. It's like, what? That guy just said what? He just called that guy what? If you have Netflix, I recommend watching Untold: Crimes and Penalties. Um, okay. Um, Actually, you know what, Nick? Say hello to my little friend, and I'm going to take a picture of that, and I'm going to look that up on Netflix before I go to bed tonight. Oh, hey, Nick, if you have Netflix, I recommend watching Cobra Kai. That show is awesome. That show is awesome. Say hello and too. Yeah, Cobra Kai. Oh, if you guys have never watched Cobra Kai, I so recommend it. I can hardly wait for season 4. Oh, you have watched it? Good, good. I love that show. I can hardly wait for it. Oh, also another one, guys. If you want to see want to have some chills run down your spine at what the future could hold, I highly recommend a show called Black Mirror. It's just really, really well done. Each show is like a mini movie. And I tell you guys, I highly recommend Black Mirror. If you have Netflix, what I just typed in, definitely watch it. If you have Disney Plus, watch The Waterboy. That's a good movie. I don't have Disney Plus, but I'll keep that in mind. Actually, up here in Canada, something else I'm excited about. I'm going to try and watch Goodfellas soon. I've never watched it before. And I like to watch WWE wrestling, Friday Night SmackDown, sometimes Monday Night Raw. Nice. You know what? WWE, it's entertaining. And sometimes their trash talk is really funny. And those guys and gals are very talented at what they do. I mean, I know most of it's scripted and all that, but it's. I gotta be honest, it's fun to watch, and you know what? It's unlike the news. It's not depressing to watch, and sometimes you get a good laugh out of it. uh, Black Mirror. Okay, I got that. Untold Crime and Penalties, documentary on a hockey team that was a thing in 2004 to 2006. Okay, I'm going to have to check that out, Nick. Just something I want to throw at you, too. Canadian Netflix doesn't have as much as American Netflix does, so hopefully us folks up here in Canada get it. I'm going to check that out. It is very interesting. I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. There's actually a show that I've been watching. It's a heavily edited, diluted version of an old Canadian cop show called To Serve and Protect, called Under Arrest. It's not as good, but it's been cool. It's actually been cool seeing. There's even cops that are, or even have been out to calls in places around where I live, which has been kind of interesting. WWE was the best during the early 2000s. Stone Cold, Steve Austin, The Rock, and Triple H. Yeah, I gotta agree with that. One crime show I finished was The Sopranos. That's a good show. Yes. I've never I remember my parents raving about it. I should check that one out, Sean. Thank you. It's on Canadian Netflix. Ooh, okay. Is it a movie? No, is it just a movie or is it a series of episodes? Actually, speaking of Netflix, my dad and we actually watched a Netflix show that was about UFOs, which was interesting. Not as good as Ancient Aliens, in my opinion, but it was all right. Okay, it's a movie. Nice. Maybe that'll be my Sunday night movie this week instead of Goodfellas. Well, actually, okay, I got to make a bit of a complaint about Netflix. It's they got rid of The Godfather. Here in Canada, they have The Godfather, and then they take it off. Like, why take movies off? I'm looking forward to Sopranos prequel movie. I'll have to check that show out. Um, my parents were saying the show Shameless is actually pretty good. I should check that out too. What was I going to say? You know what? When it was just in the past month or two that up here in Canada, Netflix brought in Slapshot. I know that they made Slapshot 2 and a third Slapshot movie, and I'm pretty sure at least the third one was an absolute colossal dumpster fire. But still, if you're going to bring one movie in, why not bring them all in? So, and even the same thing with Mr. Bean. Thankfully I got around. Thankfully, I got around to watching all three of the sorry, not Mr. Bean, Johnny English movies before Netflix took the last two of the three movies, the two of the newest movies off of there. It was so dumb that they would do that. And by the way, if you ever get a chance, watch all three of the Johnny English movies. I enjoyed all three of those movies more than I've enjoyed any James Bond movie made basically in the past 20 years. Looking forward to Sopranos prequel movie. Yes, I touched base on that. I want to check that one out too. Wait, The Godfather was on Netflix Canada? Yes, it was. But here's the kicker, Nick. Here's the kicker. They didn't have The Godfather 2 or The Godfather 3. Like, if you're going to bring one in, why not bring them all in? It's so stupid. Okay, so I'm going to type in Slapshot here. Okay, 77. The one made in 1977 definitely is a cult classic. Very politically incorrect, I must say. Okay, sequels. Okay, so there was one made in 2002, Slapshot 2, Breaking the Ice. Oh, Stephen Baldwin and Gary Busey were in that film. Okay, interesting. Yeah, 35 years after the first one. Yeah. Wow, I need some more caffeine. I was off by 10 years. 25 years. Stupidly. Languishing, okay. Placed Reggie Dunlop, okay. Looks like it didn't even, it might have even been a direct to video or direct to DVD film. And then the Slapshot 3 of the Junior League. Oh, God. Yeah, I'm sure it was a disaster, Nick. I'm sure it was. But at least they should put them on Netflix. New coach is the directed video. Oh, sequel to the 2002 directed video film Slapshot 2. Okay, so they're both directed video. Probably both rather extremely mediocre. But hey, I've watched the first one. I wouldn't mind seeing the next two, even if they are dumpster fire films. Hanson Brothers. Yes, they are iconic. That's odd. Okay, it looks like I might have to change my VPN to access Netflix Canada to watch Slapshot again. Yeah, I recommend it. Slapshot 2 and 3 are horrible. If they were actually good, I'm sure they would at least one of them would be on Netflix. I hate it when some companies make movie video games, they're too short. Or are you saying making video games from movies or making movies from video games? Because usually when companies or when Hollywood decides to take video games and make movies out of them, usually they turn out to be absolute dumpster fires. For example, you have Assassin's Creed, which I actually thought the end of Assassin's Creed had the potential to redeem it with a possible future movie, but I wanted something more authentic. Even the Super Mario Bros. Movie from 1993, before I was born, that movie was a dumpster fire. Or when they make video games for movies, yeah, usually they're not very good. At least from history. The Prince of Persia, I thought the movie was okay when I watched it, but if I played the video games, yeah, I'm sure I would hate it. It's not a video game, but we got to remember one of the greatest movies of all time, Dragon Ball Evolution. It's a classic. I mean, more people love that than the Gorton's Fisherman. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. No, they don't. But we know that was an absolute classic. I mean, I'm surprised that the Hanson brothers didn't make an appearance taking Goku's Kamehamehas and using them and using slap shots to defeat Piccolo. I like the Sonic movie. It was really good. Yeah, I heard it was pretty good too. I think there's actually a sequel coming out. I could be wrong. We at C96. I hate when fast food restaurants like McDick's, Burger Queen, and Taco Shell, etc., remodel their classic, awesome building designs to boring modern designs. I totally agree. I also hate how generic McDonald's has become here in Canada. You know, when I was a kid, we had the swirled cones, half chocolate, half vanilla. You know, thankfully, McDonald's quietly brought back their orange drink here in Canada, thanks to Fruitopia being owned by Coca-Cola. They got rid of that. Even here in Canada recently, in recent years, before I left working at McDonald's, I used to work there. We had cream cheese Danishes. They were so damn good. We even had bran muffins. We had the big extra. I mean, we had strawberry sundae topping, and they got rid of that too. It was a joke. Oh, I was so pissed off. In McDonald's, I thought, oh, let's do apple pie sundaes for a limited time or blueberry sundaes. No. All they have is chocolate and caramel, and it pisses me right off. It's a joke. Stupid cheapskates. Squeeze a quarter till the goddamn queen farts. Are you kidding me? Getting rid of strawberry sundae topping. And you know what else they got rid of here in Canada too? Chicken strips. I don't know what it is about you guys, you Americans, but you guys have the best goddamn chicken strips. They're so crispy. They're juicy. Like McDonald's. Why don't you have chicken strips? And the boring modern designs. Oh, we're meant to be contemporary. Listen, McDonald's, Burger King, Taco Bell. You guys are fast food joints. I'm not here for a luxury meal. Oh, wait. We have to pay like $10 for a goddamn Big Mac meal here in Canada, which is about, I don't know what, $7.50 US? Crocky, you know what? Charge you $2 for a cheeseburger nowadays. Oh, it's ridiculous. McDonald's used to be so much better. And they used to be so much cheaper too. Now they're trying to be upscale like Starbucks. Listen, I just want my cheap fast food, my grease in a bun, my calorie heavy, unhealthy fast food for cheap. You know, and the McFlurries are even getting expensive now too. But I'll say this about McDonald's though. Lately, I've got here in Canada on the app, you can actually get $1 coffee any size, and it's good till sometime in October, which that makes me happy. I'm a real coffee addict, but their coffee's not that great. Tim Hortons coffee, Canadian Tim Hortons coffee, is way better than McDonald's. But for $1 for a large, hey, sign me up. If you like mob movies and Slapshot, Untold, Crime and Penalties is for you. All right, good to know. I loved Happy Meals when I was a kid. They were the best. I agree. Actually, Sean, did you ever try the blueberry maple pies when they had them at certain times? They've had them a couple times, even one time when I used to work there. Oh, those are the best pies ever. Best McDonald's pies ever. Oh my God, they were so good. I remember at times I go on my breaks when I worked at McDonald's. I take a large coffee, fresh pot, make sure it's all hot and piping hot and fresh. Take a couple blueberry maple pies. They tasted like pancakes. They're so good, so good. Um, okay, Nick says I hate McDonald's. Makes me sick if I eat it. Yeah, it's not the best. And I'm going to go on the record and say that as a former McDonald's employee, I think Wendy's is better. Yes, I've joined the dark side. I like Wendy's better. I like their Frosties better. I love their chicken burgers. Their chicken patties are way better. Their beef is better. Their buns are better. But the one thing where Canadian McDonald's hasn't beat is the poutine. McDonald's fries and gravy and Quebec cheese curds. Oh man, that is so good. Unhealthy, very salty, high in calories, but damn good. Um, Also up here in Canada, I find the McDoubles are actually really good. I like that you taste the hamburger meat and the ketchup. It's just something about the McDouble when I take a bite into it, even compared to a double cheeseburger, it just tastes so much better. Maybe it's just me. Happy Meals are not the same now like they were back then. No, they're generic. They're lame. They're dumb. I miss Burger King's old chicken tenders. Yes, then they got rid of, I believe, in 2013. Of course they did. However, I can still get them at Wendy's since Wendy's nuggets taste identical to Burger King's old chicken tenders. Okay. I'm sure your American chicken tastes way better than our Canadian chicken tenders, but I find McDonald's has the best chicken nuggets. But if you next time you go into McDonald's, ask them to make the nuggets fresh. You can actually go and say and nag them to make your food fresh. I do it all the time. Obviously, being a former employee there, I know the little tricks a little bit, and sometimes I know the fancy orders people would make. Me and my mom got sick from eating McDonald's one time. I'm pretty sure I've been sick a few times from eating McDonald's. The last time I ate a double cheeseburger, I was out hanging out with my friend, and I ate the double cheeseburger, and within a few hours, I had a splitting headache, and I'm pretty sure it was some type of food contamination that made me sick. Yeah, that was not a good time. Well, at least I wasn't like Mr. Bean in room 406 when he ate some bad oysters, had some food poisoning, locks himself out in his birthday suit, and has to use a do not disturb and out of order and wrong way signs covering his genitalia. Me and my mom got sick from McDonald's. I also like Tim Hortons ice caps. They're so good. I must be more like my grandpa than I realize because I'm a very boring individual when it comes to Tim Hortons. I find the ice caps are kind of underwhelming to me. Maybe I'm just crazy. But I prefer Tim Hortons coffee. I like you know what, Sean? I like to go to Tim Hortons. There's this one Tim Hortons Wendy's building where they're 2-in-1. Right near where I live on the other side of the bridge from where I live. There's a big river nearby, but a lot of times I like to drive over there and I'll go through Wendy's. I'll get my little Frosty. I'll get a small. I don't want to get anything too big. If I eat too much ice cream, then I love ice cream, but the thing is, if I eat too much of it, I'm worried that I'm going to put on more weight than I've already got. But I'll have a small Frosty, and then I'll go through the Tim Hortons drive-through right beside, and I'll grab a nice large coffee with 2 cream. Oh man, it's so good. That's my favorite. Chick-fil-A is the best. I'm sure it is. I have never seen one up here in my neck of the woods up here in Canada. But yeah, Chick-fil-A I've heard good things about. We have a Popeyes here in my neck of the woods now, which is good. But I'd love to see some more American chicken joints come up north Canada. I like White Castle as one of my favorite fast food places. We don't have White Castle up in Canada. I mean, thanks to Harold and Kumar, I've always wanted to try White Castle. But unfortunately, I got to go to America to try it, but kind of hard to go there right now with a pandemic going on, which is hopefully that comes to an end at some point. But yeah, when the pandemic's over, I'd love to try and find a White Castle in the States, somewhere I go to in the U.S. and try it. Raising Cane's chicken fingers are great. Ooh, I'm sure they are. Oh, speaking of great, at least up here in Canada, our Wendy's have this spicy chili Thai chicken burger. Oh, so good. The only reason I did not go get one after work on Saturday was because my sister brought home some homemade East Indian food. Oh my God. Somebody she knows made it and she brought it home. So good. Remember trying Popeyes on December 2nd, 2019. I don't know what's more impressive, the fact that you had Popeyes here in Canada or the fact you remember the date you had it. But yes, I'm sure it was good. White Castle is in Midwestern U.S., New York, and Las Vegas. Okay, there is one in Vegas, eh? Okay. Well, next time I go to Vegas, I want to try and go to a Golden Knights game. Actually, you know what? Now that they're putting the corporate ads on the jerseys, I don't know if I really want to go see. Actually, you know what? To go see a game in Vegas, I think for one night I could live with the ads on the jerseys, but that'd be cool to see a game in Vegas. Oh, I've actually never been to an NFL game, so maybe that would be the time that I could score some Raiders tickets and go see a game. I'm not a Raiders fan. I'm a Seahawks fan, but that would be cool. White Castle, what I like to call Rat Castle. Oh, I like to call the McDonald's I used to work at Crack Donald's. I don't mean that in a rude way, but unfortunately we had a lot of heroin junkies that would come in and use our bathrooms to inject their drugs, which was unfortunate. But yeah, that one thing about the McDonald's I used to work at, we worked right at the bottom of the hill of a really rough part of town from where I work. And I actually work my retail job. One of the 2 stores I work at is in that part of town. You definitely, I've gone from seeing people using our bathrooms to use drugs to now working in a place where they come in to steal stuff to get their drugs, to go to McDonald's and shoot up. White Castle tastes really great, but makes you fart a lot and gives you diarrhea. Oh, God. You know what? As long as you're not getting the burning ring of fire when you defecate, like when a lot of times at first I would have when I eat Indian food, you're good, even though the diarrhea sucks. Uh, I love Indian food so much, but if it's too spicy, I feel it the next day. And I'm your typical white guy. And when it comes to spicy foods, I can't do it. Um, One restaurant I miss eating is Quiznos. That sub place is good. There used to be one at the top of the hill from my house. Me and my family would go to all the time. I miss Quiznos too, man. I miss Quiznos. We now where I live, they replaced it with some mediocre fish and chip place. Me and my family went there once. It was a nice, clean place, brand new deep fryers and everything, but the batter sucked. The fish sucked. Absolute crap. Would never go back. Quiznos, that's one I forgot about. Oh, I remember it well. You know, that place, the Quiznos where I lived was always good, and I always enjoyed that spicy pepper I got. I remember that. Subway is doable, but you know, I had my sub today, and it's not as good as Quiznos, but I recommend a sub with Italian herb and cheese bread, slightly toasted. Well, toasted is either toasted or not. What am I saying? You get it toasted. Um, Also, don't just get it toasted, but you know, get it with ham, some lettuce, some red onion, spinach, cucumber, some sweet onion sauce. Oh man, it's so good. I love spicy foods, including White Castle's jalapeno cheeseburgers, and I like to put fire sauce on Taco Bell's tacos. Well, I tip my hat to you because if I ate all that spicy food, my mouth would be burning, and I would feel it the next day. Potbelly Sandwich is best fast food sub place. I've never heard of it. Mr. Sub is better than Subway. I'm sure it is. Wouldn't surprise me. Um, yeah. Oh man. Sometimes, you know, I'll tell you guys a story about when I used to work at McDonald's. I used to work with a lot of Fijians, so obviously their tolerance for spices is much better than a white guy like myself. Eh? Um, so my coworker, she was so friendly. She'd always make rice and ask if you want some of her homemade rice. It was so good too. I miss that about McDonald's. I miss my coworkers. Um, but anyway, she gave me some rice one day, and she gave me a spicy Indian pepper. I took a bite of it, and I thought I was almost at a point where I thought I could start breathing fire like I was a Charizard or something. And I was running around like, oh my god! I was running up to the front. My manager's like, what's wrong? I said, I ate spicy pepper. And she started laughing. I told her that I ate some of my coworkers' rice, so then I grabbed some water. I'm like, oh my god! I'm dancing around, and I'm just like, oh my god! And then my manager, she grabbed a little mini kids cone and put a little spot of ice cream. She's like, "Here, have this," and I ate that. I'm like, "Oh," just laughing her ass off. It was so funny. But one thing I've learned about spicy foods, one thing the East Indians like to do is they like to have cucumber, and it offsets the spice very well. It counteracts it quite well, actually. Uh, Mr. Sub is better than Subway, yes. Portillo's and bone beef are great for Italian beef. I would not be surprised. See, you know, one thing about us up here in Canada, one thing that ticks me off a little bit, we don't have enough good Mexican restaurants. There's this place, this little fast food chain, well, kind of fast food-ish. There's a place in Las Vegas. I believe it was in the Excalibur Hotel. What was it called? I think it was called Baja Tacos or something. You'd get your little chicken rice bowl with mango salsa. It was so good. I mean, we have Chipotle's up here in Canada, but I don't know. It's okay, but it doesn't blow me away. This place in Vegas, it blew me away. Hmm. What was I gonna say too? Oh man, We've been talking for an hour and 43 minutes. Okay, this I'm declaring this is the best weekly roundup ever. Bona's only in Chicago. I'm sure Chicago has some really good stuff unique to Chicago. DQ burgers suck. I like A&W better. I actually don't mind Dairy Queen burgers. I like the charbroiled, that they're charbroiled beef. When it comes to burgers, I really like Wendy's burgers, to be honest. Here in the Chicago area, we have a sandwich place like Subway, Quiznos, and Jimmy John's called Mr. Submarine. I still have yet to try their sandwiches. They look great. I'm sure they are. Even though I don't live in Chicago and I live a little bit outside of Vancouver, I highly recommend giving it a try. Make sure you try it at least once if they look good. Highly recommend it. Actually, in terms of the channel itself, I keep putting this off. I'm so sorry. It's only taken an hour 44 minutes. No big deal. Right? I want to do something called what was I going to call it? Okay. I'm going to call it Operation Restart or Reverse or Restart, where I'm going to go back into the past. I'm going to start with one league at a time. I'm going to go back to a certain point in time and work my way back up to the present and catch up in each specific league. Like, for example, I might just end up taking a break from hockey videos for a while and go right into football. All the NFL jerseys I can compliment and complain about since, I don't know, 2012. Yeah, that might be a good idea. Now, I got a viewer, his name's Donnell. I feel really bad because, oh, excuse me, that was well brought up. I burped. But he asked me recently to do a New York Jets video. I want to complain about their jerseys, even though I love the color of green that they've gone to. But there are some things that I think you guys would probably really enjoy listening to me complain about. So I'm thinking I'm going to go back in time. I want to go back to 2012. I want to compliment and complain a bit about the Seahawks uniforms. I also want to talk about the Minnesota Vikings. I want to do everything up to this point, 2021. Then I want to go up here, stay here in Canada with the Canadian Football League, and I want to do some complaining and some critiquing of Canadian Football League uniforms since 2019. Haven't done that yet. I still got to do that. Plus, then after that, I want to tackle the National Hockey League. If I ever catch up on that, let me tell you, that would be really cool. And by the way, ooh, hey, I got a Discord notification. Ooh, what we got here? St. Louis game time. Okay, so Nick, I didn't realize until now that you sent me this photo. Yes, this was a prototype design that they had considered, actually. I don't know if you ever saw, but I have a new set. Truth is, Nick, lately I've been very busy outside of the channel, and on the times where I haven't been busy lately, I've been taking a lot of personal time. I don't know if you heard, but there was a customer that used to come to my work literally every day that recently died of a drug overdose, unfortunately, and that bothered me a little bit. And lately there was that went on. There was some other stuff that's been going on in my personal life, and sorry for all the sad stuff. I don't mean to depress you guys where, at like 11:38 or 1:38 in the morning, wherever you are. But, lately I've been trying to take a bit of downtime for me just to, kind of take a bit of a break from everything and relax. And it's been good, but, it's obviously hasn't been good. And lately I've been taking a little bit more downtime because of stuff like that. And I haven't had the time to check the channels as much as I would like. I'm actually really glad that I sat down tonight and did this live stream, to be honest. But I'm going to have to check out that new set. I'll try and check out a video of yours right after the stream is over, actually. What else? Okay, there was something on a more positive note that I'm going to show you guys here, but I think it's time for the Canadian Football League to get a new logo. And that's a little something I put together. And also, guys, speaking of stuff like that, the reason I have a new set is because I have my own apartment. Did you move out? Did you move out of your parents' place? Oh, Sean, speaking of Dairy Queen, great ice cream, but it is very much overpriced. That's something I forgot to mention. I actually got some coupons. Where did I find? Okay, my grandma gave me some coupons to Dairy Queen, and then I found some in my recycling bin tonight. Um, yeah, I at least with one thing I love about Dairy Queen is when I can get their overpriced ice cream, which is delicious, by the way, with a coupon. Saves me money, quite a bit of money, I might say. Reason I have a new set is because I have my own apartment for school. Yes, I bet you enjoy having your own place. Now, do you share it with anybody? If you get to have the place to yourself, it's way better. Trust me. We at C96, I had Dairy Queen's Oreo Blizzards before, and they are really good. If you ever get a chance, Steve, try one. Try a peppermint Oreo Blizzard. They are one of my favorites. They are amazing. Amazing. Another one that's really good is a strawberry cheesecake blizzard. Those are good too. Wow, I think I just put on like 5 pounds just thinking about all that ice cream. Yeah, ice cream and cold beer. But yeah, hey Nick, do you have your place to yourself or do you have a roommate? Oh, if you get to have the place to yourself, you have a roommate, but they're never here. So basically, oh, how nice. Oh, do they know you have a YouTube channel? You don't have to answer that one, um, but yeah, no, I love the idea of privacy. Um, I'm glad that I have a bedroom that's downstairs from my parents. I'm not gonna lie. Um, oh, but let me tell you, I bet you enjoy having that. Oh, yes, they know. Okay, but I bet you're happy to have that freedom from your parents. It's that is something. You know what? We all love our parents, but I love my parents dearly. But there's just I love the idea of being able to do your own thing. I mean, I still live with my parents. You know, I'm a really old man now. I'm 27. I'm an old fart who lives with his parents. But hey, keep saving your money, guys. And I love having the house to myself too. That's one thing that's nice about having a downstairs bedroom in my house is I have some privacy at nighttime. That's that's great. Actually, I think my dad's going to bed. Sweet, perfect. But yeah, no. One day I want to have my own place. Which that's why you just what we got to do is just got to work, save our money, and that's about all you can do. I mean, at least you guys don't live in the expensive real estate market of the province of Bring Cash, aka British Columbia. But I'm sure your real estate prices are getting stupid down south too. Dairy Queen is really good for ice cream. I heart their dilly bars. Yeah, their dilly bars are good. I do prefer their blizzards though. But yes, I agree. Their dilly bars are good. Yes, they know. Okay, we at C96. I really enjoy having the house to myself. I do too. I do too. The only thing that stinks though is that when I have the house to myself, I'm expected to take our dogs out to pee and poo. So sometimes that could be an inconvenience. I'm not gonna lie. Or if one of my dogs piss on the kitchen floor, who has to clean it up? Rockzilla's got to clean it up. Oh, That sucks. Or if they defecate on the floor, I don't even want to go there. But yeah, that always sucks. And we have a husky, and she is such a troublemaker. If you put anything on the kitchen counter that she can reach, she'll jump up and she'll pull it with her teeth. Huskies are the most gentle biters going. They're incredible dogs. She'll pull it down. She'll trash the kitchen. You got food on the counter, you leave it, it's gone. You turn away for 1 second, you have a piece of pizza or something, she'll jump up and steal it. She's about as quick as some of the customers that come into my work and steal, except she's quicker. And she will fight you back if you try to get a product or get something back, even though actually at my work you're not allowed to go after the thieves, which is a pretty good, I think it's actually a good policy for safety reasons. But I'm going to school for sports broadcasting. Nice. Okay. That's good. It's going to be a lot of work. You're going to have to do a lot of annoying essays and papers, and you'll have to do all that sourcing, AMA or APA sourcing and all that blah, blah, blah crap. But hey, if you get a job in sports broadcasting, I'm going to be happy for you. Hey, who knows? I hear there's a spot opening up when when legendary Blackhawks commentator Pat Foley retires. So I wouldn't mind tuning into a Blackhawks game and knowing somebody from a channel that I've been following since day one, commentating that game. That would be cool. I used to do a video game hockey tournament with a group of friends where I live, and I actually would commentate games for fun, and I enjoyed doing that, actually. Yeah, I missed that tournament, but the thing is, it was always a nightmare to get people to schedule with people days, and then of course, I'll never forget 2 years ago when I did the last one. We were going to play the tournament at this church that quite a few of my friends used to go to or still go to today, and of course, literally 6 days before the tournament's supposed to happen, my friend's brother, I have two friends that are actually deacons in the church that we used to play out of. Of course, the deacon's brother's the one who tells me that you better check with the church that there isn't some Korean church conference there. Of course there was. It's like, guys, why didn't you tell me? And then, thankfully my friend was so awesome to find, to find his conference room at his work and get permission for it and find a slot where we could use it. And we got that done in 6 days after having to change locations. That was incredible. But after that, I have been so turned off on the idea of doing another one. But yeah, I got to tell you, stuff like that was definitely frustrating. This season I'll be doing more live streams again of me doing my own play-by-plays. Nice. I feel weird talking to myself. I talk to myself all the time. All the time. I do it. I've done it so often my whole life. It's not weird to me anymore. As long as I'm not doing it at work or in public, then I'm okay. I got to be more conscientious of that because I have a bad habit of doing that. Sometimes when I play sports video games, I pretend to be the announcer myself. I've done that too. That's always fun. That's always fun. I talk to myself a lot too. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but sometimes I find a lot of times if I talk to myself, I find sometimes it helps me think things over, or it helps me remember something that I'm thinking about. I don't know. It's not just a useful tool for me, even though it's a little weird if somebody like my mom walks by. It's like, oh, you're talking to yourself again. I don't care. It's me thinking out loud. Sometimes I actually talk to myself when I think about a video that I'm going to do too, actually, by the way. Thought I'd throw that in there. Interesting topic. But okay. Worst sports announcer, in my opinion, is Joe Buck. Honestly, I have to be honest, Sean. I think that Harner Ryan Singh, or actually no, Dave Ransdorf is worse in my opinion. I'm not. I was never a fan of his commentaries, and I find Harder Ryan Singh up here in Canada on Hockey Night in Canada. You know what? I love his passion, but I think he'd be a great video game EA Sports NHL game announcer. But I don't like how he does his overdramatic calls. Ever since the Benito call that he had when he was calling the I believe Stanley Cup final game in Punjabi, that was great. It was a great call. But ever since then, he's trying to replicate that all the time now, where he'll be like McDavid. It's like, hey, just call the game and say McDavid scores or something. Sometimes he's a bit over dramatic in my opinion, but I'm not saying he's a bad announcer. It's just he's not my favorite for that. Joe Buck is a rather dull. He's okay. He's okay, but sometimes he can be about as plain as a club soda. Club soda without Ryan Whitney's most important contribution to hockey, Pink Whitney. Remember that little short I did recently? I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit under the influence when I did that video. I had like a blood alcohol content of probably 0.02, so I was a little bit silly, but not to the point where I was, losing my inhibitions or anything, or being silly or saying stupid stuff. Okay, the short was silly. Okay, it was kind of dumb, but yeah, Joe Buck is okay. I think there are better announcers out there, to be honest. For regional broadcast, I hate Jack Edwards. Who? I've never heard of Jack Edwards. The other guy that they've been having on NBC Sports since Doc Emmerich retired. That guy, I find he's kind of boring. I don't really care for him either. I find a lot of hockey and sports commentators nowadays are very dull and boring. It's amazing. Yeah, I miss Cuthbert doing CFL, but I'm glad he's been doing NHL. I'm surprised at how many people dislike Chris Cuthbert. He's one of my favorite announcers. Oh, the Boston Bruins guy. Yeah, he's really biased. But hey, at least he cheers for a team that's able to win the Stanley Cup, unlike my hometown Vancouver Connects. And hey, I wish I had his job. It pays better than my job, my day job. But yeah, Jack Edwards, he's very biased. But you know what I find funny about Jack though? He's got a real New England accent. He's got that semi-English accent. That's something about East Coast Americans out there is you've got a very unique accent. Either you've got an Italian-esque New York accent, or you've got a slightly English-esque New England Boston accent. I like Gary Thorne when he did ESPN hockey broadcast back in the day. Yeah, Gary Thorne wasn't bad. Gary Thorne was not bad at all. I got to be honest, guys. I'm not a fan of ESPN. I find that they've gotten. I don't mean to put this on you guys, but I got to get this off my chest. I feel that ESPN has got too political in recent years. I just want people to talk about sports. Maybe that's just me, but that's something about ESPN that I'm not a fan of. I'm sorry for getting a little bit on the political side for that, guys, but I just find that ESPN has become a bit too politicized, and I'm not a total lover of that, to be honest. I do hope Gary Thorne will be doing the NHL broadcast with ESPN again. I think that would be awesome if he did. Somebody else who I like as a commentator is Gord Miller. Him, Chris Cuthbert. I miss Bob Cole. I think the way Rogers Sportsnet treated him here in Canada, was just BS. I get it, he's an old fart, but he should have been able to go on his terms. Sadly, he isn't doing ESPN or ABC this year. Yeah, that sucks. I mean, you aren't wrong about ESPN. I'm glad I'm not the only one. I'm happy the NHL is going back to ESPN. I do agree and don't like they are going political. It's a sports channel, not a politics. I'm glad I'm not the only one who feels that way. You know, yeah, I'm going to miss NBC too. Here's the thing, guys. I mean, whether you're more left leaning politically or more right wing, I respect your political views. But you know what? When I watch sports, I want to be able to put politics aside and just enjoy the sports. It shouldn't be about your political views. It should just be about the coming together, whether you're left wing or right wing or a centrist, and just enjoy the sports together, coast to coast, whether you're Canadian or you're American. Yeah, I agree. NBC did do a very good job with the NHL. I completely agree. But that's the thing. When I want to watch, I watch sports to get as I want it to be an escape from everything going on, whether it's from COVID-19 or politics. I mean, here in Canada right now, we're getting ready to go into a federal election on Saturday. Um, you know, when I watch sports, I just want to enjoy watching the sports. You know, guys, I'll get this off my chest for the first time, but I haven't been completely happy with the NFL doing things like the lift every voice and sing before the opening kickoff on Thursday. I love the idea of everybody being one great country. Maybe that's just me, but I don't mean to get political, guys. I hope that doesn't ruffle any feathers. If it does, I'm sorry. But you know what? I think America is one great country. I think of my country, Canada, is one great country. And I don't like the idea of having different national anthems for different groups of people based on their skin color. I believe that everybody should be part of one great nation, regardless of your race, regardless of your political views. And I hate how everything has just become so divisive. I hate that. You know what? I I wish that people could be able to compromise or agree to disagree again, regardless of your political views. It shouldn't matter what your skin color is. It shouldn't, in my opinion, it shouldn't matter what your political views are. I respect both sides because I think there's the good, bad, and the ugly on both sides of the political aisle. And I believe that if we all have this, try and my belief is if we start censoring people for having different views, then we're not a very free society anymore. And one thing my grandma once said, if only the best singing birds in the forest sang, the forest would be quiet. And you know what? Everybody's got an opinion, and it's just so polarized now, especially because of the internet and social media. And I just wish that we could one day get away from that again. I don't like Jim Houston, Sean says. Jim Houston's okay, but I have to be honest. I did enjoy Chris Cuthbert calling the Stanley Cup final over him this year, even though I feel really bad for Jim. I understand that with the current pandemic, there was some issue, and I think maybe he wasn't comfortable traveling with COVID-19, and I respect that. I mean, you never know what's going on with him behind the scenes. Maybe he has a health issue that we don't know about, and that's none of our business. But, I feel bad that he couldn't call it because of what was going on with COVID-19. Obviously, right now, I think things are a little bit worse because of the Delta variant of COVID-19, but I hope that we'll hear Jim Houston's commentary again. Everything is so political these days, and I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it too. I'm glad I'm not the only one. You know, whether you're liberal, you're conservative, you know, we all have our views. I'm just sick and tired of everything being politicized. And sometimes that's been frustrating me with sports these days too, to be honest. I just wonder how the Turner broadcast will be for the NHL. Isn't Turner like Root Sports, or am I mistaken? Because I think Turner's more like TBS, like what they have with baseball playoffs. Okay, they are TBS and TNT. Yes, I know that for Turner Sports, TNT would usually does basketball games, and TBS. I always watch. I'm used to seeing TBS broadcasting baseball playoffs, and there are times I think during the regular season where they'll cover games as well. I remember there was a channel we used to have on our satellite called Peachtree TV, where sometimes you'd watch the odd Braves game on there because it's based out of Georgia. Wanted the NHL to go to Fox instead of Turner Sports because I like the NHL and Fox theme music. Yeah, it's actually pretty good theme music. It is. ESPN, though, ironically, even though I have my personal grievances with ESPN, modern day ESPN, their theme music for the old NHL broadcast from 25 plus years ago were actually really good. Great theme music. You were glad the NHL didn't go with Fox. I'd be curious to hear why. I mean, I think Fox had certain regional issues with that people had in the States, but obviously being a Canadian, I'm stuck with either Rogers Sportsnet or Rogers Sportsnet. Fox Sports turned into Bally Sports Network. Okay. Because I know there is FS1 in the States, into Bally Sports Network. Okay. I didn't know that Fox became Bally Sports. I thought Bally was some new one that came in or something. Somebody got bought out or something. I thought it was actually Root Sports that got bought out by that and became Bally Sports Network, but I guess I'm wrong on that one. Guys, I gotta ask, what do you think of the Seattle Kraken jerseys now that you've seen them? I think their home jersey's okay, but their away jersey, I just find that ice blue clashes with the white, and that logo is too big. It would end up getting shitty play-by-play from Joe Buck. Yeah, well, you know what? I've never heard Joe Buck call an NHL game a day in my life. That would have been funny, but I think with Fox, they would have had somebody more like Kenny Albert. He's actually somebody I like too. I like the Kraken jerseys, to be honest. That's fair. I think their home jersey's a lot better than the white one. But I hate the name. You know, of course they can't go with totems because I guess it's now considered offensive. But, you know, oh, good. Kenny will be on Turner. But I really do wish that Seattle would have been the totems. Seattle totems with bright Kelly green jerseys. You know what I think would have been really cool, too? If they could have had a logo or even the uniforms designed by an Aboriginal artist based out of Washington State. I think that could have been so cool. I think they missed out on an opportunity to embrace their Pacific Northwest Native American ancestry and their hockey history in Seattle, and the opportunity to wear Kelly green. I mean, what we get a team named after a mythological creature thanks to Jerry Bruckheimer being a part owner. Just because some Hollywood guy is involved or a director or whatever is involved with buying an NHL team doesn't mean I want the team's branding to be based off of one of the movies they did. I mean, the Kraken is a cool creature, mythological creature out of the Pirates of the Caribbean and mythology, but which the mythology is just a supersized super squid, basically. But their home jersey's not bad. The colors work, but I think there's too many shades of blue. I don't like how the lighter shades of blue touch on the arms. Sorry, when it comes to jerseys, I'm a real fashionista. I'm super picky. I'm like one of the old clients my dad had when he used to do window cleaning. Just even a small speck on a window. Hey, you gotta clean that. Would have liked the Seattle to name the team the Metropolitans, but I don't mind the Kraken. I'm just happy Seattle has a team. That last statement I do agree with. I am just happy they have a team too. I don't know why they had to call their arena Climate Pledge Arena, and now their helmet's going to say Climate Pledge on them, at least on the away uniform. I don't know why it couldn't have just been Amazon Arena, but I do love the eco-friendly stuff they're doing in the Crack House in Seattle. I wonder if they'll offer calamari in the concessions, in the concession area. I would be interested in knowing if the Seattle Kraken are going to offer calamari dishes to be served during the Kraken games. Well, the idea of it's really cracking me up. too bad I don't have some Kraken rum. Okay, I'll stop with the. Oh man, my puns are really cracking under pressure. But Seattle Metropolitans would have worked as a name, but obviously they didn't do that because of the Metropolitan Division, which I think they could have been having two of them. The name of the team and a division would have been fine, but I can understand why they didn't do that. I'm sick of ads on NHL helmets. What did I say before? Oh, I've got a great video coming out later this week. I'm going to delay it so that I can space out videos this week so I can be productive. But don't worry, Steve. I've got a couple of videos coming up. I'm going to film a prequel to it because there's something I wanted to cover. But don't worry. I'm going to have lots of great stuff to bitch about in that video. Trust me. Notice I'm using a little bit of coarse language tonight, which usually I don't do, but it's a live stream. I got to let loose and relax once in a while. But yes, I'm sick of ads on NHL uniforms in general. I'm sick of the fact that they can make over $1 billion with expansion to Seattle and Vegas, over $1 billion on top of that with a new US TV deal, a multi-billion-dollar TV deal here in Canada, and they still need more money. You know, last season, I mean, I agree with the people such as Hands Down Hockey, and I want to extend my best wishes to Justin as he's decided to retire from YouTubing. I agreed with him when he said that, we need the helmet ads just to make enough for the NHL to make enough money to run a season without fans. Yes, for that reason, I was able to live with him last season. As I said before, if they came out and were completely transparent and said, hey, for the next 5 seasons, we're going to have ads on our helmets and jerseys to help offset the massive financial losses of the COVID-19 pandemic, I could live with that. And then on the condition, they came out and said, okay, as soon as this period is done, we're taking these ads off ironclad. Then even though I would still be concerned, obviously, and I'd still complain, I would be able to accept that. But obviously, they've misled us. We heard, it's only for 1 season with the helmet ads. The helmet ads were the first domino to fall. And you know what? I can't believe how many people were being condescending about those of us who had complaints and grievances about the helmet ads. Here's the thing. You give these guys an inch, they'll take a mile. I've said that so many times. Also, once the first domino falls, the rest of them follow after. You just need that first domino to fall. You just got to get people accustomed to advertisements on uniforms. It's a helmet ad today, then it's a helmet ad or jersey ad tomorrow, which it literally will be next season. And then, as another subscriber on here, Andre, said, he said that he hopes that the ads don't spread like tattoos. Well, it's a small 3 by 3.5 inch jersey ad today. It's a couple one on each arm tomorrow. I am pissed I missed out on buying a Vancouver Millionaire Heritage Classic jersey for $35 today. Well, I'm disappointed that you didn't get to buy it today. Too bad you don't wear a CCM small, or I would try to pawn off my Calgary Flames 04 red jersey to you for a rather cheap price, including United States shipping. Sean P. 1993, I like the Kraken jerseys. They're good, and Seattle would be a nice place to visit. I've heard Seattle has a lot of crime. I don't know if that's true or not. It wouldn't surprise me, but Seattle does look like it'd be a decent place to visit. But with some of the things I've heard, I guess you can't always live your life based on what people say about a place. But, some of the things I've heard about Seattle, it's some of the crime and stuff that's gone on there. I don't know if I'm sold on that. Truth is, if I had to pick between Seattle and Vegas, I'd rather go back to Las Vegas for the umpteenth time. I'm not going to lie. Even though living just outside of Vancouver, it would be cool to go down to Seattle and at least catch a Seahawks game or something, or some cheap Mariners tickets. Because who wants to go see the Seattle Mariners, except for when Canada's only Major League Baseball team comes into town and they gouge the prices, which that's a dick move by the Mariners, by the way, in my opinion. But I digress. As the hockey guy would say, I digress. The Kraken home jersey's not bad. The logo looks great. For a horrible name, they've got a great logo. The away jersey, I don't like the bright ice blue on the white. It needed some type of navy blue surrounding it to contrast it better. So Nick says Justin may have actually not retired from YouTube. It looks like he's going to be doing Pittsburgh Penguins videos now. Okay. Well, you know what? If he, I wish him all the best in whatever YouTube endeavors he decides to do or not do. It actually seemed like he's done a lot of changes to his personal life, and I wish him all the best on that. Chicago is a nice place to visit as well. Just don't go to the south side or west side since the crime is bad. I've heard a lot of bad things about Chicago and Lori Lightfoot. I'm really disappointed with what I've been hearing about crime in Chicago. I really hope that you guys down there can get that city cleaned up. It's very sad hearing about the amount of shootings and murders that happen there constantly. It's you guys who live there in Illinois. You guys deserve better. In my opinion, you guys deserve better than what you guys have got. It's just a terrible situation, and I don't mean to be jumping into news topics like that, but it's really frustrating. It's because Chicago does look like a nice place to visit. I mean, honestly, I'm a Blackhawks fan, and I would love to go see a Blackhawks game in Chicago one day, or even go to a Cubs game. But it's just some of when you hear constantly about the murder rates in Chicago and the crime and all that, it's just ay. So okay, luckily you live in the suburbs. I'm glad you live in the suburbs where it's safe. Good, because I don't know what it is about certain U.S. cities, but it seems like there's a lot of bad crime in a lot of big U.S. cities, and it's a real shame because you guys have some really cool cities by the looks of it that I'd love to go to one day. Chicago looks like a cool place. New York has always looked like a cool place. Crime rates mainly the south side of the city. I'm glad I've learned that from you guys. Thank you. It's cool to learn that. I would be scared to visit New York City. I wouldn't know what to do in New York City. To me, Central Park is just another park in the world. New York City is a lot of buildings and constant 24/7 traffic. It makes Vancouver traffic and Toronto traffic look tame. The crime rates mainly society. Okay, read that comment already. Yeah, I wouldn't know what to do in New York City. It's not a place that I'm really dying to go to. I'm not going to lie. But yeah, scared to visit New York City. Yeah, New York City can be a pain. The worst cities when it comes to crime are Chicago, Detroit, New York City, Baltimore, and LA. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I've also heard San Francisco is really bad as well. Oakland, I have family that live down in California, so I've heard from my cousin's wife that, oh yeah, St. Louis for sure. Supposedly, she said to my grandma, don't go to Oakland. They live around San Jose, so they would know a lot better than I would know. I could throw in some worst cities for crime here in Canada. Toronto can be bad, really bad. Vancouver can also be bad. A suburb of Vancouver is well known to a lot of people as being bad here in Canada, which is Surrey, which is a suburb just outside of Vancouver. Where I live, Surrey is considered to be a high crime place, which is not wrong. But also, Winnipeg can have its fair share of crime. Edmonton can be bad too. I think there's bad crime in almost any city going. Some are just better than others. Yeah, some parts of Winnipeg are bad, unfortunately. I've also heard that about Edmonton. No wonder they filmed the Canadian Cop Show to serve and protect a lot of times in Winnipeg or Edmonton or Surrey. Of course, I live right in that area. St. Louis, as of a few years ago, was the murder capital of the United States. Yeah, it's bad there. San Francisco, I hear, is an absolute poop hole. I don't know if it is anymore. I hope St. Louis cleans up. I hope that Chicago, LA and stuff do too. I've heard California in general is really bad. I hope that the folks in California can get that turned around. My dad was telling me that all the time his grandparents would tell him about how great California was, the Fisherman's Wharf and all that. And you'd hear all these beautiful places in California and songs written about California and California girls. And I prefer the David Lee Roth version of that, but it's sad to see what California's become. I really hope that they can clean that up, but I just want this pandemic to end. It's really bad, and I mean the sad part that I find is that basically this virus is like a forest fire, where it's going to keep going to wherever it has fuel to burn, basically, and it's going to travel the world, and that's unfortunately the way it seems to be, which I hope and pray that the world can get this under control, because there's just so much fighting about COVID-19 and all constant talk about it. I want the world to move forward. We've already lost too many people. We've had too many businesses and jobs lost. It's been a horrible situation. It sucks that every time you tune on your TV, it's COVID this or COVID that, or you have to wear a face mask wherever you go, and it sucks. Yeah, I know. I can't take it anymore either. I'm so frustrated and sick and tired of it. I'm sick and tired of people and how they are in this pandemic too. Some people are so overly paranoid. I can't believe how people are. You know what, guys? I'll tell you a little story about today. Actually, earlier today, I went to vote. I went to vote in the Canadian election because it's on Saturday. Okay, this guy in front of me, he obviously, I kept my distance. Wherever I go, even when we didn't have to wear masks, when the restrictions were eased in BC back in July, I would still wear my face mask to work, and I've worn it everywhere I go since the pandemic started. Even if people don't want to wear a mask and they're allowed to be about without a mask, I respect their choice. But for me, wherever I go, I always wear my face diaper. And today, I'm standing 6 feet apart from the guy in front of me. I always follow all the guidelines. I'm not one of these anti-maskers, I promise. The guy in front of me, he's standing on the line, and his foot is like 1 inch over the line, and some old guy complained. He's like, "Oh, you're supposed to stand behind the line." Like, dude, the guy had his foot over the line by an inch. By an inch. What the hell? Like, I literally mean like an inch. God, for Christ's sake, some people can be so uptight about it. God, having half of, like a quarter, like an inch of his foot over a line is not going to spread COVID-19. And I guarantee everybody in the gymnasium where I voted today was vaccinated. People need to get the fucking vaccine, or this pandemic will never end. I believe with that, the good news is the vaccine rates, at least here in Canada, at least where I live, is 85.8% of first shot, which is good. But with the pandemic, I think how it's going to end, Nick, is you're going to have a mix of people who get immunity or get antibodies from either the vaccine or by naturally getting COVID-19, which obviously I don't wish that on anybody. But the good news is that for every person who survives COVID, and I hope and pray that every person who gets COVID survives it and doesn't have long-term health effects from it, I believe what's going to come down to for this pandemic to end is a combination of vaccinations and people naturally acquiring antibodies by getting COVID. And yeah, I agree. I believe the vaccine should be optional. If you want to get it, go ahead, but don't force people to get it if they don't want to. I absolutely agree with that. I believe it should be a choice too. And I respect, you know what, but at the same time, I believe the people who don't want to get vaccinated, I believe that they've got to be willing to, some of them are some real real pricks. Like, even where I live in BC, there are anti-vaxxers who are protesting in front of hospitals, and that's something that really upsets me. You know, it's not the doctors and the nurses. Why are you going after them? They'd be the first people to save your friggin' lives if you come down with COVID and you need to be in intensive care. Yet you're bitching at them. You know what? If you're sick of the pandemic, listen, like even where I live, we have vaccine passports now. I mean, you know, I have my views on that. To be honest, I believe that people have their rights. But right now, with the rates of vaccine or rates of COVID and all that, I think that for some non-essential extracurricular things like large gatherings of sporting events and concerts, I actually believe that, you know, right now maybe requiring double vax for some of those places where it's a lot easier for the virus to spread is probably a good idea. Same with, especially in my opinion, nightclubs and strip clubs, because when people are at nightclubs and bars, they start drinking, their common sense disappears. Same with just like their sobriety. So when they're all in close contact, if you got one person in the whole nightclub that's got COVID, there's that virus is it's like a match on a puddle full of oil of a gas. It's like throwing a match on gasoline. It's just igniting a big fire, and next thing you know, you got a zillion different new COVID cases. It's so stupid. Yeah, I agree. I am sick of the protesters protesting in front of the doctor's office. You know, one thing about the vaccine mandates, though, I don't like the idea of people needing to have the vaccine for a condition of employment unless it's something extraordinarily risky and dangerous, such as working in long-term care. I can appreciate that. I don't know if everybody's going to agree with me on that, and I respect your opinions, guys. I 100%. Um, but I believe that, for example, when you work in long-term care, those people, the thing is, if you even a one breakthrough case of an old fart who is double or even triple or quadruple vaccinated, I mean, obviously they're going to get booster shots soon if they haven't already. At least here in Canada, we haven't started that yet. I think in the States, you guys have. But the thing is, even having two shots and a booster shot, if they could still get a breakthrough case a lot easier than anybody, and they're done. You could have some 73-year-old in long-term care. I can understand maybe for something like that, maybe requiring, mandatory vaccine. I hate saying it, but for something extraordinary like that, I don't like the idea of requiring people to get a shot to have as a condition of employment. I think for certain things like concerts or sporting events, I think the idea, because the vaccines have been proven to reduce transmission, people who are vaccinated have much lower cases of deaths and hospitalizations. It's clear science. It's actual real science. This isn't stuff I'm pulling off of the internet. It's actual science, according to our provincial health officer here in BC. But I think you've got to be able to draw a line between people's rights and also the safety of the public. And you know what? I'm glad I'm not in politics because obviously I care about everybody's safety. I also care about people's rights, and I respect people's rights to choose if they get the vaccine or they don't. But at the same time, do I think that people who are not vaccinated should be in nightclubs, potentially when they're more likely to transmit the virus? No. I don't believe that being at concerts and sporting events right now is, I don't think right now is probably a good idea. It's even here where I live, cases have been getting closer and closer to 1,000 a day in BC. It's, you know, where do you draw a line? It's a terrible situation. And that's why I just hope this pandemic friggin' ends. I don't like the idea of people's rights being infringed, and I believe people should have the right to choose. But at the same time, see, I see both sides' points, and I there's things on both sides I respect and I completely agree with because, yeah, it's you've got to be both sides. I mean, if you choose not to get vaccinated, I respect your choice. If you choose to get vaccinated, I respect your choice. It's just if you're not going to get vaccinated, please, for the love of God, don't be acting like there's no COVID. Because in my opinion, there's two kinds of unvaccinated. There's people who have concerns about the vaccine, even though it's been proven to be safe so far. Overwhelmingly, it seems like most people are not having side effects, which is good. But I respect people's rights to question. I mean, hopefully YouTube doesn't give me, what, if it's talking about COVID or anything. P.S. For the record, I'm not a doctor or a health professional of any kind, so disclaimer there. But yeah, I mean, if you haven't got the jab, I mean, please at least don't be going out to large gatherings and stuff. And if you're going to go out somewhere and you're going to work, you're going to an essential service, like you need to get groceries or go to the bank, just wear a mask and comply. It's what it is. And the people that bother me are the anti-maskers and the ones that act like there's no virus. Like, guys, come on. Those people are frustrating. I think we can all agree on that. Remember back in June when you got the second shot, you got a fever. Damn. I hope that went away quick. But yeah, I think what's going to happen, guys, is I've been talking about it lately with my family and stuff. I actually believe what's going to happen is we're going to have enough people who have either A, been vaccinated, or B, have acquired antibodies by getting the virus. So I think what'll happen, I wouldn't be surprised if we get enough of those two groups of people where the virus is no longer spreading the same. I mean, I hope that's the case. I hope the virus ends right now. I know we're all tired of it, but yeah. I mean, sorry for going on about the pandemic, but I mean, it's the topic du jour. It has been for the past year and a half. It's just an awful situation. It really is. Yeah, Nick, I gotta say, when you say people need to get the vaccine or this pandemic will never end, um, you know what? It's people if they I encourage people who have, health issues, especially older people, if they haven't had the shot, definitely. I encourage people to get the vaccine. And you know what? If people are not going to get the vaccine, just please don't be acting like there's no virus. Wear a mask and just stay away from big gatherings because it is a pandemic of the unvaccinated. It's the truth. That's the part that, and oh yeah, I forgot to say earlier, there's two sides. I think there's two kinds of unvaxxed. Ones that have concerns about the vaccine, and then the other ones who just IDGAF and act like there's no virus. Those are the ones that are causing all the problems, in my opinion. But hey, wow, it is 12:27 in the morning. Holy cow. And there's still three of you guys watching. Wow. Well, guys, this is officially the best weekly roundup in channel history. But yeah, Sean, I completely agree. I'm sick of the protesters protesting in front of the doctor's office. It's 2:28 where I live. Okay, so basically it's 2:30 in the morning where you, Nick, and Sean live. But yeah, it's holy cow. I did not. I was thinking I might go on live for like a half an hour, talk about the uniform matchups, and 2 hours later, here I am. This is great. Well, Nick, Sean, and Steve, I'm glad you guys are here. This is great. And Caesar, thank you for joining in earlier. If you're still watching, hey, feel free to drop a hello. But if not, have a good night. Let's see. What else was I going to say? I'm actually looking forward to finally getting around to watching Naruto soon. I'm going to try and change the topic here. The pandemic's a frustrating, polarizing, frustrating, and scary situation, and I wouldn't mind jumping away from it a little bit. I've never fully watched Naruto, and I've been wanting to watch it for basically the past 12 years, and here in Canada, I can watch Naruto and enjoy that. Soon. I'm looking forward to starting that up. But I want to watch the rest of my Under Arrest show I've been watching for before I go do that. Oh, it's okay. So it's only 1:30 where you live because you don't do. Oh yeah, you live in Saskatchewan, don't you? Don't forget, I'll be live on my channel Saturday night, like almost every. Hope you can make it. Let's see. I work at 1 o'clock on Saturday your time for 9 hours. 8:30 my time, so it'd be 1 to 10:30 your time. I'd be home around 11 o'clock at night your time, Steve, on Saturday. Lately, my work keeps giving me 9-hour days on Saturdays. I mean, at least this past Saturday, even though my manager was in a bit of a foul mood, which, let's just say, she ruffled my feathers a little bit on Saturday, I'm not going to lie. The only good thing about that was I got to get off at 7 o'clock, but I had to start at 9:30 in the morning and work 9 hours. But yeah, if I can make it, Steve, I would definitely be hopping on for sure. That sounds great. And then I put my beer in the fridge. I got a 600 ml bottle of Sapporo. I wanted to have it this weekend, but then, I never got around to it. I bought myself a little bottle. Okay, so I might be able to make at least the end. I'll keep that in mind. But I actually bought a little 200 ml mini of Canadian Club whiskey on the weekend, last weekend. So I had that with a bit of Coca-Cola the other night. It was damn good. And I watched a little Black Mirror. If you guys ever get a chance, watch Black Mirror. It's a sci-fi show where each episode's like its own little mini movie. It's amazing. It's amazing how the futuristic stuff they show. Like even in the last episode I just watched, this girl, she works for this insurance company, and they have a law in the show at the time in some time in the future where they have these chips where they put them on somebody's temple on their head, and they watch their thoughts as they re-picture this car accident they witnessed in their minds, and she's able to watch what they're seeing and picturing in their minds on a computer screen. It's really interesting stuff. But I'm looking forward to wrapping that show up because I want to get myself ready to watch some more Cobra Kai when season 4 comes out in December. Oh, I can't wait for that. That's going to be so good. When I started watching Cobra Kai back in February, I remember my last manager. I remember my last store manager left earlier this year when our new guy came in, and he was telling me about Cobra Kai. I gave it a try, and wow, I can't believe how they took those Karate Kid movies and they built such a great show around based off of those. Okay, so I tried Rolling Rock beer. That's the bright Kelly green packaging with the blue on it. I thought that was more of a hoppy pale ale. But okay, it tastes like Heineken, Stella, and Beck's. Okay, the only beer out of those three that I don't like as much is Stella. I find Stella's too skunky. Heineken is great. I love Beck's. Beck's is my favorite of the three. Beck's is really good German beer. But yeah, Beck's is a really good Pilsner. Heineken's good. If you ever get a chance to try it, I recommend Tuborg or Asahi. Those are really good beers. I like those. Actually, where I live, a lot of the craft breweries around the Vancouver area, they bring out pumpkin beers. And we have this one brewery in Vancouver. It's called Steamworks, and they have a pumpkin ale they bring out every year. It's so good. I love it. I can't wait to get some. Every beer that comes in a green bottle has a slinky flavor, but still not bad. Yeah, it's better if you get a darker or skunky. Yeah. I prefer darker brown bottles, brown glass, or blue glass. If you buy Kronenberg 16 or Kronenberg Blanc, get it in blue bottles. Oh my God, to die for. That is a good beer. So comes in a green bottle, has a skunky flavor. Yes. I just find Stella is overpriced too. It's I don't know. Maybe it's because I live in Canada. I don't know, but it's I just find that it's I've had better beers than Stella. Heineken's way better, and Rolling Rock. I'm gonna have to try that. I always thought it was a pale ale, and I'm not into hoppy beers. I'm very boring when it comes to beer. I don't mind sours. If you're into craft beers, I've tried some sours. Some are not bad. They're a little strong on the flavors, but there's actually this local craft beer that I bought recently. It's 10% alcohol. It's black. It's a blackberry blueberry sour, and it was. I had a bottle. I had a bomber of that, and whoo! I was watching the movie Purple Rain. It was a movie made where the musician Prince he was playing basically a fictionalized version of himself, basically in a way. After I had that bottle of beer, all I remember was I was jumping around in my room like I was like I had jumped in a time machine, jumped out. It was 1984, and I was at that concert jumping around, half sauced. Well, sauced. Okay, so I see Sean and Steve, you're still here. Nick, are you still here? Or did you call it a night? You might have fallen asleep, I wonder. It's possible at this time of night. I had a beer called Ice House Edge, which is 8%. Oh God, I can't do any beer over 7%. It's just too much. Oh man, ooh. I'll never forget the time my dad bought a can of 8% beer for me by accident. Oh God, ugh. Blech. This is so gross. The first sip, I'm like, hey, that's all right, and then all of a sudden the aftertaste, it's like, oh my God, what crawled in this beer and died. It's disgusting. I mean, where I live, we jokingly call Colt 45 a grown man's breakfast. That stuff's bad. Ugh. You know, one beer I actually want to try, it's called Old Style Pilsner. Right? My neighbor used to always have cans of that when he'd sit out and have a can of beer with my dad. I used to remember he always would have that one, and my dad would drink it sometimes too. It's too bad. It's too bad we don't sell single cans of that where I live. I wouldn't mind trying it. I don't know if I want to buy a tall can of it though, because if it's really bad and then it's a tall can of bad beer, it's not a tall can of good. And I had Steel Reserve a few times for 8%. I got so drunk I got knocked out, and the next morning didn't remember what I did. I had that happen once when I had I had 2 glasses of this drink. It's called a melon ball, where you use melon liqueur, vodka, and orange juice. My grandma made me a couple of them. It was so good. The first one was to die for. It made the orange juice look green. And it was so good. And then I had a second one, and she actually, I think, okay, so she used melon liqueur vodka, and I think she even put a little spot of coconut rum in the second one. I remember she had to help me from her place to my room because she lives in my house, eh? And I staggered to my bed. I was on my knees and I fell as I passed out with my head against my bed. This was like 7 years ago. I was worried that my old man was gonna see me drunk and he's gonna be like, "What the hell are you doing?" I drank 3 or 4 beers. I nearly collapsed. Oh man. I don't know if you guys have them in either Saskatchewan or Chicago or Illinois, but there's there's these little shots you can buy. They're called 99. There's like 99 bananas or 99 watermelon, and oh man, one shot of that is 49.5% alcohol. So if you have like a tall can of beer and you have like a shot of that, oh man, you're good for the night. We have a beer which I think is Chicago only called Heileman's Old Style Beer, which is good, tastes similar to Pabst Blue Ribbon. I've actually never had PBR before. I should try some. I've heard it's good. I know a lot of people who drink it. There's actually one I want to try. It's called Hoegaarden. It's I think it's Dutch. It's a wheat beer, so it's like a Kronenberg Blanc. It's really good. Hey Nick, are you still there, or did you call it a night? If you did, have a good night, man. Chicago only called Heileman's Old Style Beer, which is good. I don't drink liquor. I just prefer to only drink beer. That's fair. Actually, liquor. I recently bought a bottle of Hennessy cognac for the first time, and it's actually not bad. It's strong, but it's actually quite smooth. I understand why a lot of people buy Hennessy. It's actually not too bad. I also like Irish cream. I finished a bottle of Blarney's recently too. Better than Bailey's. More creamy. Made with actual real cream. I actually don't mind a bit of whiskey. Wayne Gretzky actually has his own branded whiskey. It's actually pretty good. It's aged in red casks. It's red cask whiskey, which I guess it's aged in redwood casks. But supposedly, according to my grandma, Wayne Gretzky has crap wine, but I find his whiskey's really good. But I actually want to buy a bottle of whiskey. It's called Seagrams. There's this old guy that I see from time to time. He always buys. I always see him with a bottle of Seagrams coming out of the liquor store, buying it in his bag. I saw that video you made a few weeks back. You drinking vodka. I think that's what you drank. Oh, that was the Pink Whitney. That is it's pink lemonade vodka, where it's got a pink lemonade flavor. It's actually really good if you mix it with ginger ale. I had a lemonade ginger ale that we have up here in Canada. We mix it with that. It's pretty good. I don't know if you guys have it down south, but I'm sure you would because it's so popular. Excuse me. It's really good. But yeah, Pink Whitney's pretty good. I remember trying a Mott's. Oh, Sean, I cannot do Caesars. I was out with my grandma recently. We were at a restaurant. She ordered a Caesar. And let me tell you, oh, that thing was so tomatoey and salty. It was just too much for me. Maybe it was the Caesar, maybe the person who made it, but oh my God. Those things to me are just bleh. I actually tried a mojito when I tried the Caesar. That was okay. A good drink, guys, is a rye and ginger ale. Whether it's Canadian Club or Wiser's, I actually don't mind Alberta Premium with that, or Wiser's, and you have it with a bit of spotted lime. You get a little a lime wedge, and you squeeze some lime juice in it. It's so good. It's also good with Coca-Cola, Orion Coke. Those are good. I had a bottle of peppermint Smirnoff I was trying to finish off. It took me over a year and a half to finish it, just a 26 ounce, 750 ml bottle. And what I would do is I bought a little bottle of Spice Box chocolate whiskey, and I'd take a little shot, and I'd mix it half chocolate whiskey and half peppermint vodka. It was actually really good, really good. I think I should call that shot after 8. Yeah, I haven't seen Spice Box chocolate whiskey in months since I bought it. It's actually pretty good. I'm hoping, actually, speaking of Spice Box, I'm hoping that I'm hoping that I get a chance to try this one that my coworker was saying is really good, is Spice Box pumpkin whiskey. Oh, the chocolate is amazing if you ever try it. All you do is you have just a little tiny glass, maybe an ice cube in it, and you just sip on it, just a little tiny bit. Don't drink too much. But I'd love to try a pumpkin whiskey. That sounds good. But one thing I love about October now is not Halloween, it's pumpkin beer. But there's this one pumpkin beer I bought last year. It came in a little 4-pack of glass bottles. It was a nice change, but it tasted almost like echinacea drops. It was really just overly spiced and overdone. It's really kind of bad. But on that note, though, we are now at 12:46 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 1:46 a.m. Mountain Time, or in the prairie provinces if you don't practice daylight savings time, as I've learned tonight, and 2:46 in the morning in Central Standard Time. And I actually think that Nick might have gone to bed. But I'm going to end the stream in about 5 minutes or so. There's one good thing about not having to work till tomorrow afternoon is I still have a bit of time tonight. I'm going to go check out Nick's new set on his channel, Windy City Hockey. And I might have some time after that to do my prequel video of complaining about ads on sports uniforms. But I'm going to do it as a prequel because I think the idea of doing like a prequel to my main video would be a good idea. Because as I said before, there is something that I do want to touch base on that is significant. But at this point, though, guys, is there any final points that you want to make? Or since it's later where you guys live than where I live on the West Coast, well, Wet Coast, as we call it here in BC, if there's any last points you want to make, feel free to add them. If you're still awake and alert. If you're not, hey, I understand it's late. At least after the stream, I can go upstairs. I can wash out my bowl of mac and cheese I had earlier and have to piss like a racehorse anyway. So I might do a review video this week on Mountain Dew Voodoo 3. I will go to the store and try to find it. Hopefully Speedway will have it. Well, when you do that review, I'll have to tune in. I feel really bad, guys. I haven't been able to watch much in terms of YouTube videos lately. I've just had so much going on in my personal life lately. It's been very time-consuming, to say the least. But yeah, that Mountain Dew Voodoo sounds pretty good. I love the name, actually. But basically, to wrap up this stream, I will say this. I say Wednesday or Thursday I will review it. Okay, I'll look for it. Thanks for the heads up. Appreciate that. Well, guys, before I wrap up, I'll say this. Everybody stay safe. I respect people's choice, whether you choose to get vaccinated or you don't. Stay safe out there. COVID is a terrible thing. I don't wish it on anyone. I do sympathize with anyone who is not vaxxed and gets COVID, unlike some people. In my opinion, I think it's really heartless to have no sympathies for people who get something like that. I believe in the motto of treating people the way you want to be treated. I wouldn't want people to wish COVID-19 on me, and I certainly wouldn't wish it on them. I just hope that people stop protesting in front of hospitals. Doctors and nurses have been doing life-saving work for the past more in the past year and a half than they've ever probably done in their entire careers. They do amazing work every day, and it's not them that you should be taking your frustrations out on. I know my viewers are not anti-doctors and nurses. I know you're not. If you get vaccinated or if you don't, I believe it should be your choice. I respect people's opinions on both sides, but I just hope that the fighting stops. I hope that we can get this pandemic under control, and I wish everybody nothing but safety and all the best. And to everybody who's tuned into the stream tonight, you guys are the best. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Caesar. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Sean. It's been a real pleasure doing this stream. Best weekly roundup video I've ever done, for sure. Hopefully, this pandemic's going to end soon. I hope we can kick some ass and kick COVID's ass, and we can all get back to, bitching about the little things again, like jersey ads and crappy hockey, our favorite hockey teams sucking ass on the ice, or how good our favorite players playing, or whatever. I'll be going to bed now. Have a good one. Thanks. You too, Steve. I'm drinking one Pepsi every 4 days. I don't drink too much soda anymore. That is really good. I personally stick with a lot of tea and coffee. I don't drink pop as often as I used to either. I drink beer more than I used to, but I try to be very, what's the term? Very moderate with how much of beer or soda that I drink. Even though it is nice to mix a bit of pop with some whiskey, I'm not going to lie, I do enjoy that. Even though I do that very sparingly, for the record. But to you guys, whether you've been a part of the stream or you're just tuning in late, I wish you all nothing but safety. I hope we can all end our fighting with each other over the vaccines. Please stop protesting in front of hospitals. Doctors and nurses, thank you for all your hard work you do. Everybody stay safe out there, and hopefully we can end this pandemic sooner rather than later. And guys, until my next video, as I always say, thanks for everything. Take care. As always, guys, bye for now. And thank you for tuning in. If you stuck around from start to finish, you guys are awesome. If you tuned in late, thank you. And to all of my viewers, thank you for making this channel very enjoyable over the years. And I might have to do the weekly roundups live a lot more often. I'm so glad I did this. Best decision I've made in a while. See you next time, Steve. Thank you. Right back at you. See you next time on one of your videos. You take care, Sean. You take care, Nick. You take care, Caesar. To all of my viewers, all of you subscribers out there, you guys take care too. Stay safe out there. And I look forward to giving you more videos to listen to soon. All right, guys. All the best. I know my video conclusion is very long-winded, but I wish you all the best. Take care, guys. And as always, until next time, take care. And as always, bye for now. And thanks for watching. All right, guys. I'm going to be wrapping this in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And cut.